The ocean has always held a profound allure for humanity, a vast, mysterious expanse that covers more than 70% of our planet, yet remains largely unexplored. Beneath its seemingly calm surface lies a world so alien, so utterly strange, that even our most advanced technology can barely scratch its depths. For centuries, explorers, sailors, and scientists have gazed across the waves, captivated by the unknown. Stories of sunken cities, lost civilizations, and unimaginable structures hidden beneath the water have passed from generation to generation, whispered in myths, legends, and fragments of ancient texts. What if these tales were not just fantasies? What if the oceans truly conceal remnants of a world that predates our recorded history, a world that could rewrite everything we think we know about human civilization? In recent decades, technology has given us glimpses of this hidden universe. High-resolution sonar scans, deep-sea submersibles, and advanced imaging systems have revealed shapes and patterns on the ocean floor that defy explanation. Straight edges, massive geometric formations, seemingly deliberate structures, the kind that no natural processes should create, have emerged from the dark abyss. Some of these anomalies are so immense that they challenge the very limits of imagination. The images sent back from deep below are at once mesmerizing and disturbing, suggesting a reality far stranger than the myths that inspired them. And yet, the world above remains largely unaware, with mainstream science often dismissing these discoveries as nothing more than geological quirks or coincidences. But for those who have looked closer, who have studied the shapes, the measurements, the details, the evidence is hard to ignore. Something extraordinary lies beneath the waves. Consider, for a moment, the idea that entire cities, grand structures, temples, roads, and monuments might have been swallowed by rising seas thousands, perhaps even tens of thousands of years ago. Imagine civilizations so advanced that they could build with precision, yet were lost to time, their stories erased from the pages of history. Across the globe, from the coasts of Japan to the Caribbean, from the icy waters of the Baltic to the warm seas of the Indian Ocean, researchers have uncovered formations that suggest more than chance. Massive stone steps descend into the ocean, circular disks of unknown origin rest silently on the seabed, and linear patterns stretch for kilometers without interruption. Some formations appear perfectly aligned, forming geometric shapes that echo the mathematical sophistication of ancient engineers. Others hint at ritual spaces, ceremonial sites, or even monumental constructions designed for purposes we cannot yet comprehend. These discoveries are more than just geological curiosities. They are clues, fragments of a story hidden beneath layers of sediment, obscured by time and the relentless pressure of the ocean. They are fragments of evidence that force us to ask questions we may not have answers to. Who built these structures? When were they built? And, most importantly, why? Are they the remnants of civilizations long erased from human memory? Or are they the result of natural processes we still fail to understand? The mystery grows deeper with every new discovery, challenging our assumptions about history, technology, and the limits of human capability. Each sonar scan, each deep-sea photograph, is a tantalizing piece of a puzzle that refuses to fit neatly into our current understanding of the world. And yet, there is something profoundly cinematic about these discoveries. The thought of descending thousands of meters into near-total darkness, guided only by submersibles or remotely operated vehicles, peering at structures that have remained hidden for millennia, ignites the imagination. The ocean floor, long thought to be barren and lifeless beyond certain depths, is revealed as a place of wonder, terror, and mystery, a silent archive of forgotten knowledge, frozen in time. The structures appear almost deliberate, as if they were left behind with intent, waiting for humanity to find them. Some are enormous, dwarfing even the largest modern monuments. Others are subtle, their shapes blending with the seabed until observed with precise instrumentation. Yet all share a common trait: they refuse to be ignored. This documentary will take you into the heart of this enigma, exploring the most perplexing and shocking discoveries beneath the ocean. From the mysterious stone formations near Japan to the eerie disc-shaped anomaly in the Baltic Sea, from hidden ruins off the coast of Cuba to submerged temples in the Indian Ocean, we will journey across the globe, examining evidence that challenges the accepted timeline of human civilization. Experts, scientists, and explorers will guide us through these mysteries, offering explanations that range from the conventional to the radical, from the scientifically grounded to the speculative. We will confront skepticism, encounter controversy, and peer into the depths where few dare to venture. By the end of this journey, one question will remain unavoidable: what secrets does the ocean still guard, and what would it mean for humanity if even a fraction of these mysteries were proven real? The truth is, The ocean's depths are a silent witness to the passage of time. They have swallowed entire landscapes, hidden artifacts, and erased the footprints of civilizations that once thrived where water now dominates. Every sonar echo, every remote image, every unexpected structure is a whisper from the past, a message that has traveled millennia to reach us. Some of these whispers are clear, precise, and unmistakable. Others are faint, distorted, almost lost in translation. Yet together, they form a call to curiosity, daring humanity to question everything it thought it knew about its origins. This is the journey we are about to undertake, a descent into the unknown, where every revelation is more astonishing than the last, and every answer leads to deeper, more unsettling questions. The ocean is calling, and its secrets are waiting. The ocean is not just water and waves. It is a realm of the unknown, a vast expanse that stretches beyond human comprehension. Despite covering over 70% of the Earth's surface, we have explored only a fraction of its depths, and even within that fraction, discoveries continue to challenge everything we think we know. The allure of the ocean has captivated humanity for millennia, not merely for its beauty or bounty, but for its mystery. Sailors of ancient times told stories of waters so deep they seemed bottomless, of creatures so enormous they defied imagination, and of strange formations lurking below, glimpsed only through fleeting encounters or whispered tales. These accounts, long dismissed as exaggeration or myth, now demand a second look in light of modern technology and the anomalies being discovered in the deep. Humankind's fascination with the hidden world beneath the waves is deeply rooted in our collective psyche. Oceans have always represented both danger and opportunity, a barrier and a gateway, a source of sustenance and a canvas for imagination. In ancient myths, entire civilizations were said to exist beneath the sea, thriving in a world parallel to our own. Atlantis, perhaps the most famous of these legends, is described as a technologically advanced city swallowed by the ocean in a single cataclysmic event. Other tales from cultures around the world recount sunken cities and islands, submerged temples, and forgotten kingdoms, often attributed to floods or divine punishment. While these stories were long considered mere allegory, modern discoveries hint at the possibility that they could be grounded in reality. Could these myths have been distorted memories of real events, of cities and civilizations literally erased from the earth by rising seas and cataclysmic shifts? Even in recorded history, the ocean has remained a place where the impossible seems possible. Ancient mariners spoke of lands that appeared and vanished with the tides, of underwater ruins glimpsed in shallow waters near coastal cliffs, and of strange alignments of rocks that seemed purposeful. As humans began to map the world, the unknown expanses of the seas were often left blank or marked with the ominous words, "Here be monsters." Those spaces were more than gaps on a map. They represented the ultimate frontier, a place that defied human exploration and imagination. And it is precisely this combination of fear and curiosity that has fueled countless expeditions, from the earliest diving bells to today's advanced submersibles, as scientists and explorers alike attempt to uncover what the ocean has kept hidden for eons. Modern exploration has revealed that the ocean is far from a uniform or featureless expanse. Sonar mapping and deep-sea imaging have unveiled landscapes that are astonishingly varied and complex. Mountains rise from the depths, canyons stretch for miles, and plains of sand and rock form patterns that challenge conventional geological understanding. Among these features, however, are anomalies that seem different, structures that appear intentional, patterns that suggest design, and formations that cannot easily be explained by natural processes alone. Straight lines, right angles, massive blocks, and geometric arrangements all hint at the possibility that ancient civilizations may have once thrived where now there is only water. The ocean, it seems, may be a museum of humanity's forgotten past, preserved under layers of sediment and shielded by the very waves that have eroded our memory of it. The allure of the unknown is also tied to the sense of possibility. The deeper we explore, the more we realize that the ocean is a time capsule, preserving secrets that could rewrite history. Structures and artifacts that lie beneath the waves are untouched by modern development, hidden from the destructive hand of time that shapes cities and civilizations on land. Some formations discovered off the coast of Japan, for instance, appear to be terraces or steps cut with precision, leading to speculation about deliberate construction. Other sites, such as the circular formation in the Baltic Sea, suggest shapes so regular that nature alone seems unlikely to account for them. Across the Caribbean and the Indian Ocean, sonar scans reveal massive blocks and alignments that could easily be mistaken for streets, plazas, or temples. Each of these anomalies fuels the imagination. Could this be evidence of a civilization older and more advanced than any we have yet recognized? But it is not merely the structures themselves that intrigue. it is the questions they provoke. How did these civilizations disappear without a trace? Were they victims of rising seas, violent natural disasters, or some other cataclysm yet to be understood? Could they have influenced the development of human society, only to vanish before leaving a written record? The ocean, in its vastness and depth, holds the answers, yet it also guards them fiercely, demanding patience, courage, and ingenuity from those who seek to uncover its secrets. Every expedition into these hidden realms offers tantalizing glimpses, but rarely complete clarity, leaving the door open for speculation, wonder, and awe. This fascination with the unknown, the thrill of discovery, and the potential for rewriting history is what continues to draw explorers, scientists, and amateur researchers into the depths. The ocean's mysteries are a siren call, a challenge to human curiosity, and a reminder that no matter how much we believe we know, the world still holds secrets far beyond our comprehension. In the chapters that follow, we will journey from the first hints of underwater anomalies to some of the most perplexing and shocking discoveries in the world's oceans, exploring sites that challenge geology, archaeology, and our understanding of human history itself. This is more than an exploration of the deep. It is a voyage into the heart of mystery, into a realm where the boundary between myth and reality is thinner than we ever imagined. The oceans are waiting, and the secrets they hold could change everything. Long before the age of advanced sonar and deep-sea submersibles, humans were already drawn to the mysteries of the ocean. Ancient mariners, navigating by stars and currents, often reported strange sightings, rocks arranged in impossible patterns, inexplicable underwater ridges, and sudden drops that seemed to descend into nothingness. These early accounts were dismissed by many as exaggerations or sailors' tales, yet some hints of submerged civilizations quietly emerged throughout history. Coastal settlements occasionally discovered stone structures beneath shallow waters, walls that seemed too deliberate to be the result of natural erosion, and artifacts that hinted at long-forgotten societies. Every glimpse of something unusual beneath the waves planted the seeds of fascination, yet the technology to explore the deep fully was centuries away. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, oceanography began to take shape as a formal scientific discipline. Explorers and scientists were no longer content to rely on myths and speculation. They sought tangible evidence. Early deep-sea sounding, using weighted ropes and lines, revealed an uneven ocean floor, contradicting the assumption that beneath the waves lay only sand and mud. The results were astonishing: underwater mountains, canyons rivaling the Grand Canyon in scale, and plains stretching for miles without interruption. Among these natural wonders, however, were formations that could not be easily explained. Straight lines, sharp angles, and large flat surfaces emerged from the depths, features that were strikingly unnatural, at least to the human eye. These hints suggested that the ocean held far more than simple geological curiosities. Perhaps it harbored the remnants of entire civilizations. The mid-20th century brought seismic shifts in our ability to explore the deep. Sonar technology, originally developed for military purposes, allowed scientists to map the seafloor in unprecedented detail. For the first time, anomalies could be captured systematically rather than by chance observation. Images transmitted from sonar scans revealed astonishing patterns, symmetrical formations, linear arrangements, and terraces that seemed deliberately sculpted. One of the most striking features was the presence of massive blocks that appeared stacked with precision, forming shapes that resembled streets, plazas, and even monumental architecture. These discoveries sparked heated debates among experts. Some insisted that natural geological processes could account for the formations, while others saw unmistakable evidence of intelligent design. Regardless of interpretation, one thing was clear: the ocean floor was far more complex than anyone had imagined, and it demanded serious attention. Among the earliest and most compelling hints of submerged mysteries were the reports from the waters near Japan in the 1970s and 1980s. Local divers and researchers began to notice peculiar formations off the coast of Yonaguni, a small island near Okinawa. At first, these structures were thought to be natural rock formations, created by tectonic activity and erosion. Yet upon closer inspection, they revealed a series of terraces, steps, and sharp angles so precise that accidental formation seemed unlikely. The largest steps measured several meters high and extended for hundreds of meters, creating the impression of a monumental underwater platform. Some features even appeared to align according to geometric ratios, echoing principles of mathematics long associated with human engineering. The Yonaguni site would go on to become one of the most famous underwater anomalies in the world, a landmark that challenged the very notion of what ancient civilizations were capable of. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, researchers exploring shallow waters stumbled upon formations that appeared deliberately arranged. Large stone blocks, some weighing several tons, were scattered across the seafloor in linear patterns. Although sediment and marine growth partially obscured them, the shapes were too regular to be entirely natural. Initial reports were met with skepticism, but continued exploration revealed more structures, hinting at the possibility of submerged cities or ceremonial spaces. These discoveries, while not as dramatic as Yonaguni, added weight to the growing body of evidence suggesting that humans had once inhabited areas now underwater. Rising sea levels, driven by climate change and geological shifts, could have submerged entire coastlines, erasing the physical traces of civilizations that predate recorded history. Explorers also began investigating the North Atlantic and the Baltic Sea, where sonar scans detected anomalies that defied conventional explanation. In 2011, a massive circular formation was discovered at the bottom of the Baltic, resembling a disk with a diameter of nearly 200 meters. Its unusual shape, combined with straight lines and stair-like features, prompted speculation ranging from natural geological phenomena to artificial structures. Experts from different fields debated its origins, each theory revealing the limits of current knowledge about underwater processes. Some argued for glacial activity or tectonic forces. Others suggested a man-made structure, perhaps a remnant of a lost civilization. Regardless of the explanation, the Baltic Sea anomaly further fueled the fascination with the ocean floor as a repository of unsolved mysteries. The allure of these discoveries is magnified by the difficulty of exploration itself. Deep-sea diving is dangerous and expensive, requiring specialized equipment and expertise. Even the most advanced remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, are limited in their ability to capture every detail of the seabed. Yet, despite these challenges, dedicated teams continue to push boundaries, mapping areas that were once considered inaccessible. Each expedition uncovers new anomalies, new shapes, and new questions. With every sonar scan and deep-sea photograph, the ocean reveals a hidden history that refuses to be ignored. These early explorations laid the groundwork for modern investigations, establishing that beneath the waves lies a landscape that is as enigmatic as it is awe-inspiring. Perhaps most striking is the persistence of anomalies across vastly different regions. From Japan to the Caribbean, from the North Atlantic to the Indian Ocean, formations appear that challenge assumptions about geology, engineering, and human history. These scattered discoveries suggest that there may be a pattern, a global phenomenon that has yet to be fully understood. Could they represent remnants of a civilization that spanned continents? Or are they independent achievements, lost to the tides and the passage of time? Early explorers could only speculate, but their observations planted a seed of curiosity, a recognition that the ocean floor may hold the most profound archaeological and historical revelations of all. The first hints of underwater anomalies were more than just discoveries. They were an invitation. They challenged the scientific community, intrigued amateur researchers, and captivated the public imagination. As sonar technology, submersibles, and advanced imaging techniques continued to improve, the evidence grew, building a case that the mysteries beneath the waves were real, significant, and waiting to be understood. These early explorations, the first glimpses into a world hidden beneath the surface, set the stage for a journey that would span decades, oceans, and the limits of human knowledge itself. And as we will soon see, the anomalies discovered during these early investigations were only the beginning, a prelude to revelations that could shake the foundations of what we believe about human history and the civilizations that came before us. Before the modern age of deep-sea exploration, much of what lay beneath the ocean was invisible to human eyes. The vast, dark expanses of the seafloor remained inaccessible, a shadowy frontier that could only be imagined. That began to change with the advent of sonar technology, a tool originally developed during World War I to detect submarines, which would later revolutionize oceanography. Sonar, short for sound navigation and ranging, works by sending sound pulses into the water and measuring the time it takes for the echoes to return. The result is a three-dimensional map of the seafloor, revealing contours, ridges, and structures that were previously hidden from view. What scientists discovered with this technology would astonish them, and set the stage for one of the most mysterious chapters in human history. Early sonar maps were crude by today's standards, but even these initial surveys revealed anomalies that could not easily be explained. The ocean floor, long thought to be a featureless desert of mud and sand, was instead alive with complexity. Mountain ranges, deep trenches, plateaus, and canyons emerged in sharp relief, many rivaling or exceeding the scale of surface landmarks. Amid these natural formations, however, were irregular shapes and patterns that hinted at something more, something deliberate. Straight lines cut across the seabed, terraces appeared in precise steps, and geometric formations emerged that seemed almost impossible to occur by chance. Scientists were puzzled. Were these formations simply quirks of nature, or evidence of a lost history preserved beneath the waves? As sonar technology advanced, so too did the ability to detect ever more subtle features. High-resolution multibeam sonar could map entire regions of the seafloor with astonishing detail, revealing features that might have otherwise gone unnoticed for decades or even centuries. For example, sonar scans off the coast of Japan revealed the underwater terraces of the Yonaguni Monument, capturing sharp edges, precise angles, and massive flat surfaces that begged for interpretation. The terraces measured several meters in height and extended for hundreds of meters, forming shapes that suggested intentional human construction. Even under the scrutiny of the most conservative scientists, the formations resisted simple explanations. Natural erosion and tectonic activity could account for some irregularities, but the mathematical precision and sheer scale of these structures left many researchers grappling with a disturbing possibility. Could these be remnants of a civilization long forgotten? Sonar also revealed patterns across multiple oceans, suggesting that such anomalies were not isolated incidents. In the Caribbean, sonar mapping exposed linear arrangements of massive stone blocks, some weighing tens of tons, scattered across the seabed. These blocks appeared in regular sequences, resembling streets, walls, or even ceremonial plazas. Off the coast of Cuba, similar structures emerged, forming geometric shapes that implied design rather than chance. The discoveries were striking because they spanned vast distances, appearing in different geological environments, yet all shared a common characteristic, a sense of deliberate construction. Each sonar scan added to a growing sense that humanity's history might be far more complex than the standard narrative allows. One of the most compelling aspects of sonar technology is its ability to capture not just shape, but scale. For instance, the Baltic Sea anomaly, a massive, circular formation discovered in 2011, was mapped with sonar to reveal its full dimensions, roughly 200 meters in diameter, with terraces and angular features that suggested a structure of monumental proportions. From the surface, these features are invisible. Only sonar can uncover the outlines hidden beneath layers of silt and marine growth. Similarly, sonar scans of the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean revealed extensive submerged formations, some appearing as massive platforms, others as aligned stones forming patterns reminiscent of urban layouts. The images are haunting, almost eerie, suggesting landscapes frozen in time and preserved in a state of suspended mystery. What makes sonar discoveries particularly compelling is not just what they reveal, but what they leave unanswered. While sonar can map large-scale formations with impressive precision, it cannot provide detailed information about composition, function, or age. A formation may look artificial, but without physical exploration, we cannot confirm whether it was carved by human hands, shaped by natural processes, or altered by centuries of sedimentation and oceanic activity. This uncertainty is precisely what fuels fascination. Sonar gives us a window into the unknown without fully opening the door, leaving room for imagination, speculation, and investigation. Each sonar map becomes both a clue and a challenge, a silent invitation to explore, to question, and to seek answers where conventional science may falter. The psychological impact of sonar images should not be underestimated. Viewing the ocean floor in sharp relief, with straight lines cutting across the seabed or massive terraces rising from the depths, evokes a sense of awe and unease. There is something profoundly human about recognizing deliberate shapes in a seemingly chaotic environment, a sense that someone, or something, was there before us, leaving evidence of their existence behind. For explorers and researchers, these images carry the thrill of discovery, the possibility that beneath our oceans lies a history waiting to be uncovered, a chapter of human civilization hidden from sight for millennia. Sonar technology has also enabled a global perspective, allowing researchers to identify patterns and anomalies across continents. By comparing sonar data from Japan, Cuba, the Baltic Sea, and other regions, scientists have begun to map the distribution of underwater structures on a scale never before possible. These comparisons reveal similarities in geometry, alignment, and size that challenge explanations based purely on natural forces. While skeptics point to tectonics, erosion, or sediment deposition, the patterns revealed by sonar suggest that something deliberate may lie beneath the waves, a hidden history that is waiting for us to uncover it. Ultimately, sonar has transformed our understanding of the ocean from a mysterious void into a frontier of discovery. It has provided the first detailed maps of anomalies that might otherwise remain hidden, revealing terraces, blocks, and geometric patterns that hint at a lost human history. Each sonar scan is a journey into the unknown, a bridge between myth and reality, and a glimpse into a world that has long been inaccessible. With every pulse of sound sent into the depths, with every echo returned from the darkness, we are reminded that the ocean still holds secrets beyond imagination, secrets that may challenge everything we know about human civilization. The depths are speaking, and thanks to sonar, we are finally beginning to listen. Off the southern coast of Japan, near the island of Yonaguni, lies one of the most enigmatic underwater formations ever discovered, a monument that has fascinated scientists, divers, and researchers for decades. First brought to public attention in the 1980s by Japanese diver and researcher Masaaki Kimura, the Yonaguni Monument stretches beneath the waves like a frozen city, a massive structure seemingly carved from the seabed itself. Its terraces descend in precise steps, angular edges form right angles, and enormous platforms appear to have been sculpted with deliberate intent. The sheer scale is staggering. Some steps measure over 5 meters high, extending for hundreds of meters, creating formations that dwarf even the largest modern monuments. To witness it firsthand is to confront the uncanny sensation that these are not natural formations at all, but the remnants of a civilization lost to time. The Yonaguni site challenges the assumptions of archaeologists and geologists alike. Some experts argue that the monument is a natural formation, sculpted by tectonic activity and the relentless erosion of ocean currents over thousands of years. Waves, earthquakes, and sediment movement can indeed create strikingly straight lines and terraces in certain conditions. Yet others, including Kimura and a growing number of researchers, point to features that suggest human intervention. Precise angles, flat surfaces, and what appear to be carved roads, staircases, and even pyramidal structures. The site also includes structures resembling large pillars, towers, and platforms that are too uniform and geometrically consistent to be entirely natural. Every dive into the site raises questions rather than answers, each discovery adding weight to the mystery. Perhaps the most striking aspect of Yonaguni is its geometric sophistication. Some terraces seem aligned according to mathematical ratios, resembling principles of architecture and design that would suggest advanced planning. Certain angles are remarkably precise, and linear patterns extend in ways that echo city layouts rather than random geological processes. Divers have noted formations resembling plazas, amphitheaters, and even potential ceremonial spaces. If these were indeed man-made, they would indicate a civilization capable of engineering on a monumental scale, long before any known civilizations in the region could achieve such feats. The implications are staggering. Could this site represent evidence of a prehistoric civilization, predating written history, whose knowledge and skills have been buried beneath the waves? Adding to the intrigue are the carvings and markings scattered throughout the site. While erosion and marine growth obscure much of the detail, divers have reported unusual indentations, potential inscriptions, and shapes that suggest artistic or symbolic intent. These markings are subtle, sometimes almost imperceptible, yet they hint at human activity. Their existence raises even more questions. What was the purpose of these structures? Were they residential, ceremonial, or perhaps astronomical in function? Could they have been part of a larger network of settlements, now entirely submerged due to rising sea levels or catastrophic events? Each layer of observation seems to peel back time, offering glimpses of a world that has been hidden for millennia. The debate surrounding Yonaguni is intense and ongoing. Skeptics point to natural explanations. The region is geologically active, with earthquakes and shifting tectonic plates capable of creating sharp angles and terraces in the sandstone bedrock. Erosion can sometimes produce straight lines and flat surfaces that mimic human construction. However, proponents of artificial origins argue that the combination of scale, geometry, and apparent functionality is unlikely to be the result of natural forces alone. This clash of interpretations has made Yonaguni one of the most controversial underwater sites in the world, a battleground between mainstream geology and alternative archaeology. The lack of definitive artifacts or inscriptions makes it difficult to conclusively prove human involvement, yet the monument's form and design continue to baffle experts and fuel speculation. One of the most compelling aspects of Yonaguni is its relationship to sea level changes over thousands of years. Geological studies suggest that the site would have been above water as recently as 10,000 years ago, during the last ice age, when sea levels were significantly lower. This timing aligns with theories that early human civilizations may have existed long before traditionally recognized history, only to be submerged as ice caps melted and oceans rose. If Yonaguni was indeed constructed or modified by humans, it could represent a link to a forgotten age, a civilization erased by the forces of nature yet preserved beneath the sea. The monument becomes more than a mystery. It transforms into a tantalizing clue to our distant past, a frozen echo of human ingenuity waiting to be deciphered. Explorers and divers who visit Yonaguni describe a sense of otherworldly awe. Swimming alongside massive stone terraces, navigating steps larger than modern staircases, and tracing lines that stretch into the darkness, they often report an uncanny feeling of presence, as if the site retains the memory of its builders. Photographs and videos capture only fragments of the enormity, failing to convey the scale, precision, and sheer majesty of the formations. The deeper one dives, the more the site reveals its secrets, yet even the most experienced divers leave with more questions than answers. There is a tension between what is seen and what is known, between the evidence on the ocean floor and the frameworks of modern science, a tension that makes Yonaguni endlessly compelling. In the broader context of underwater anomalies, Yonaguni stands as both a benchmark and a puzzle. It challenges our understanding of what early humans were capable of, demands a re-evaluation of history, and inspires curiosity about other submerged sites across the globe. Its terraces, platforms, and geometric features echo across oceans, suggesting that perhaps similar civilizations or constructions exist elsewhere, hidden beneath the waves and waiting to be discovered. Yonaguni's mystery is amplified by its scale, complexity, and the absence of definitive answers, a reminder that the ocean is not just a repository of water, but a vault of history, holding secrets that could rewrite everything we know about human civilization. The Yonaguni Monument is more than an underwater curiosity. It is a challenge to human understanding, an invitation to explore, question, and imagine. Whether the terraces, steps, and formations are natural, man-made, or a combination of both, their existence forces us to confront the unknown. Every dive into Yonaguni, every sonar scan, and every photograph brings us closer to answers, yet simultaneously reveals the vastness of what we do not know. It is a site of mystery, a monument to the unknowable, and a testament to the enduring human fascination with what lies beneath the waves, a fascination that drives exploration, fuels debate, and keeps the story of Yonaguni alive, generation after generation. Off the coast of Cuba, in the crystal-clear waters of the Caribbean, divers and sonar researchers have stumbled upon one of the most puzzling underwater sites in the world, a series of formations that seem to hint at a civilization lost to time. Unlike the relatively well-studied Yonaguni Monument in Japan, the Cuban underwater structures are newer to the public eye, discovered only in the late 2000s. What makes these formations remarkable is not just their size, but their striking geometry and apparent alignment, which suggest deliberate construction rather than the random handiwork of nature. Massive stone blocks, some weighing several tons, are arranged in linear patterns, forming terraces, platforms, and even shapes that appear reminiscent of streets or city layouts. From above, the formations resemble an ancient urban grid frozen beneath the waves, a silent testament to a civilization that has been hidden from human knowledge for millennia. The discovery was first made by a team of local divers, who reported seeing unusual stone formations scattered across the seabed near the northeastern coast of Cuba. Initially, the formations were assumed to be natural. The region's geology is complex, with sedimentary rock layers that can fracture in angular patterns, creating shapes that might mimic human construction. Yet as divers and researchers returned repeatedly, it became increasingly clear that the blocks displayed an extraordinary level of regularity. The stones appeared to be shaped, leveled, and aligned with one another in ways that suggested intentional placement. Some blocks featured remarkably flat surfaces and sharp edges, while others formed long, straight lines, stretching across hundreds of meters of seabed. The patterns were too deliberate to dismiss as random occurrences, sparking intense interest among researchers from around the globe. One of the most compelling aspects of the Cuban site is its scale. Some terraces rise several meters above the surrounding seabed, creating platforms large enough to suggest public spaces or ceremonial grounds. Large stone blocks are arranged in what seem to be concentric patterns, evoking the idea of plazas or gathering areas. There are indications of potential pathways or streets, as long lines of stone connect different clusters of formations. The overall impression is of a planned layout, a city or complex constructed with intention and foresight. The site's geometry, coupled with its massive scale, challenges assumptions about prehistoric civilizations in the Caribbean, raising questions about the capabilities and sophistication of the people who might have created it. Dating the Cuban formations has proven extraordinarily difficult, adding to the enigma. Marine sediment, coral growth, and tectonic activity obscure the age of the stones, leaving scientists to rely on indirect evidence. Some researchers suggest that the site could be over 6,000 to 12,000 years old, placing it in a period before most known advanced civilizations emerged. If accurate, this timing would force a reconsideration of human history in the Americas, suggesting the existence of societies capable of architectural planning and large-scale construction long before previously thought possible. Others caution that more research is needed, warning against drawing conclusions without comprehensive analysis. Yet even with uncertainty, the patterns, scale, and geometry of the Cuban formations remain striking, hinting at a human presence that predates modern historical records. The Cuban underwater site also bears intriguing parallels to other anomalies around the world. Similar geometric patterns and massive stone blocks have been documented near Japan, in the Baltic Sea, and off the coast of the Indian Ocean. While the environments differ dramatically, the recurring appearance of terraces, straight lines, and massive platforms suggests that there may be a global pattern, a network of submerged structures created by ancient humans. Some researchers theorize that rising sea levels, driven by the end of the last ice age, could have submerged coastal civilizations across continents, leaving behind these enigmatic formations. If true, the Cuban site may represent one chapter in a story that spans oceans and millennia, a fragment of human history waiting to be rediscovered beneath the waves. Exploration of the Cuban site has not been without challenges. Strong currents, shifting sediments, and limited visibility make diving difficult, while the depth of the structures requires specialized submersibles or remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, for thorough investigation. Despite these obstacles, teams have documented detailed maps, photographs, and 3D reconstructions, capturing the scale and complexity of the formations. These tools have allowed researchers to examine alignment, geometry, and potential functionality, yet many questions remain unanswered. What was the purpose of these structures? Were they residential, ceremonial, or defensive in nature? Could they have been part of a larger, now submerged network of settlements extending across the Caribbean and beyond? Each expedition adds tantalizing details, yet the full picture remains elusive. The mystery deepens when considering local legends and folklore. Indigenous and colonial-era stories speak of lost lands and sunken cities, tales that echo the patterns seen in the submerged formations. While myths are not evidence in themselves, they suggest a continuity of memory and imagination that might reflect historical events long obscured by rising seas. The combination of sonar imaging, diver reports, and local lore paints a picture of a civilization lost beneath the waves, a society whose knowledge, architecture, and culture have been hidden for thousands of years. It is a story that intersects history, archaeology, and mystery, challenging us to rethink assumptions about human capability and the resilience of civilizations. What makes the Cuban formations particularly compelling is the emotional impact of witnessing them firsthand. Divers report a sense of awe and reverence when swimming among massive blocks and terraces, a feeling amplified by the silence and isolation of the deep. The formations convey a sense of scale, purpose, and history that is difficult to describe, as if the site itself is silently communicating with those who venture into its depths. There is a haunting beauty in the symmetry, a quiet majesty in the massive stone structures, and a palpable sense that humanity is only beginning to understand its significance. Each dive, each sonar scan, each photograph reveals new details, deepening both the mystery and the fascination. The Cuban underwater city stands as a testament to the ocean's power to preserve history and conceal secrets. It is a reminder that what lies beneath the waves may be far more complex than what we see on the surface. Whether the formations are remnants of an advanced, forgotten civilization, the product of unknown natural forces, or a combination of both, their existence challenges conventional narratives of human history. The site invites speculation, inspires exploration, and ignites the imagination, offering a glimpse into a past that has been hidden for millennia. As researchers continue to investigate, the Cuban underwater formations may yet provide answers, or perhaps even more profound questions, about the origins, capabilities, and resilience of early human societies. Few regions of the world's oceans have captured the imagination and fear of the public quite like the Bermuda Triangle. This notorious stretch of water, roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has long been associated with mysterious disappearances, ships vanishing without a trace, planes lost in midair, and countless tales of inexplicable events. While many of these stories have been dismissed as folklore or attributed to navigational errors, severe weather, and human mistakes, a growing body of researchers suggests there may be something deeper, something hidden beneath the waves that contributes to the triangle's enduring mystery. Recent underwater investigations have uncovered structures and anomalies on the seafloor that add a startling layer of intrigue to a region already steeped in enigma. Sonar mapping of the Bermuda Triangle has revealed vast underwater formations that are unusual, to say the least. Massive geometric shapes appear scattered across the seabed, some forming grid-like patterns that resemble streets or foundations, others taking the shape of terraces and large flat platforms. These formations often appear in clusters, hinting at organized construction rather than random geological activity. Divers and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, have captured images of angular structures and linear alignments stretching across hundreds of meters, features that are difficult to reconcile with natural erosion or sedimentation alone. The presence of such anomalies raises the possibility that the Bermuda Triangle might conceal remnants of lost civilizations, cities or settlements swallowed by rising seas thousands of years ago. What makes the Bermuda Triangle particularly compelling in the context of underwater anomalies is the frequency with which unexplained occurrences seem to coincide with these formations. Historical records document numerous shipwrecks and aircraft disappearances, many in regions that overlap with the locations of these structures. While skeptics argue that storms, rogue waves, and magnetic anomalies can account for many incidents, some researchers suggest that submerged ruins or unusual topography on the ocean floor may create currents, underwater traps, or localized magnetic disturbances that interfere with navigation. The notion that human-engineered or naturally aligned structures could influence the surface environment adds a tantalizing layer to the mystery, bridging oceanography, archaeology, and legend. The Bermuda Triangle is also home to unique geological features that complicate exploration. Deep trenches, underwater volcanoes, and shifting tectonic plates create a seafloor that is both dramatic and treacherous. Within this chaotic landscape, the anomalies stand out with almost unnatural precision. Massive terraces, flat platforms, and angular formations appear to defy the randomness of surrounding geology. In some locations, sonar images reveal parallel lines and right angles stretching across the seabed, patterns that echo the layouts seen in other underwater sites such as Yonaguni in Japan and Cuba. Could these formations be part of a global phenomenon, a network of submerged structures that once connected early civilizations across continents? The idea is both thrilling and unsettling, suggesting a hidden history that has been preserved beneath the ocean for millennia. Divers exploring these Bermuda Triangle anomalies often describe a surreal and otherworldly experience. Swimming alongside massive stone blocks or terraces, they report a sense of scale and intentionality that is difficult to explain. There is an eerie feeling of encountering the past directly, a sense that these structures were deliberately placed by intelligent beings whose knowledge has been lost to time. Visibility, currents, and depth pose constant challenges, yet each dive reveals new features: angular steps descending into the darkness, potential walls dividing sections of the seafloor, and clusters of stones that suggest architectural planning. The visual impact is profound, leaving explorers both awestruck and unsettled, aware that they are glimpsing fragments of a hidden world beneath the waves. The possibility of a connection between Bermuda Triangle anomalies and other underwater sites is both fascinating and controversial. Scholars and enthusiasts alike have speculated that these structures may represent remnants of an ancient maritime civilization, advanced enough to construct monumental stone works and sophisticated urban layouts long before the rise of known empires. Could a civilization once have spanned the Caribbean and the Atlantic, its settlements now submerged due to catastrophic rises in sea level or tectonic events? The scattered, yet recurring patterns of geometric formations across different oceans suggest this possibility cannot be dismissed outright. While definitive proof remains elusive, the notion of a lost civilization influencing multiple regions adds a sense of grandeur and danger to the mystery. Adding to the intrigue are historical accounts and folklore from the Caribbean and North Atlantic. Stories passed down by sailors, indigenous peoples, and colonial explorers describe sudden disappearances, strange lights, and unexplainable phenomena in the Bermuda Triangle. These tales, though often dismissed as exaggeration, gain new weight when juxtaposed with the discovery of massive underwater structures. Some researchers argue that oral histories may preserve faint memories of catastrophic events that submerged coastal settlements, recording them in myth and legend. If so, the anomalies may not only be archaeological treasures but also a key to understanding the human experience of ancient disasters, events so powerful they left echoes in both the physical and cultural landscapes. Modern technology continues to shed light on the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. High-resolution sonar, 3D mapping, and deep-diving ROVs allow scientists to document the precise geometry, scale, and layout of underwater formations. These tools are revealing details previously invisible to human eyes, from terraces and linear alignments to potential architectural patterns that suggest sophisticated planning. Each discovery, however, leads to more questions. Who built these structures? Why were they constructed in these locations? What caused their submergence? And could they have influenced the mysterious events that made the Bermuda Triangle infamous? The intersection of archaeology, oceanography, and legend makes the region one of the most compelling frontiers for exploration and research. Ultimately, the Bermuda Triangle challenges our assumptions about the limits of human knowledge. Beneath the waves, massive structures remain hidden, waiting for explorers to uncover their secrets. Whether the anomalies are remnants of advanced prehistoric civilizations, unusual geological formations, or a combination of both, they remind us that the ocean holds mysteries far beyond imagination. The Bermuda Triangle is more than a zone of fear and legend. It is a gateway to understanding a hidden history, a place where science, myth, and the unknown converge. As we continue to explore and map these submerged landscapes, we may be on the verge of uncovering truths that redefine our understanding of human civilization and its relationship with the vast, enigmatic seas. In the cold, murky waters of the Baltic Sea lies one of the most perplexing and controversial underwater discoveries of the modern era, the Baltic Sea anomaly. First detected in June 2011 by a Swedish treasure hunting team using advanced sonar equipment, this formation immediately captured global attention due to its strikingly unusual shape. Unlike the gradual slopes and irregular forms typical of the seafloor, the anomaly appears as a massive circular structure, almost perfectly disc-shaped, with an estimated diameter of roughly 200 meters. From above, the formation looks like a colossal flying saucer resting silently beneath the waves, its flat surfaces and geometric features starkly contrasting with the natural contours of the surrounding seabed. For explorers and researchers alike, the Baltic Sea anomaly is more than a geological curiosity. It is an enigma that defies conventional explanation. The initial sonar scans revealed even more peculiar features. Straight lines, sharp angles, and what appear to be stair-like terraces surround portions of the disk, suggesting intentional construction rather than random geological processes. Certain areas exhibit patterns that seem designed, almost architectural, with raised sections and depressions that give the impression of a structure carefully engineered for a specific purpose. While some scientists initially argued that the formation could be a natural glacial deposit or a result of post-glacial tectonic activity, the anomaly's symmetry and apparent geometric precision raised skepticism. Natural processes, after all, rarely produce such consistent shapes across large scales, particularly when combined with the flatness and angularity seen in portions of the structure. The Baltic Sea anomaly instantly became a battleground between conventional science and more speculative interpretations. Diving into the anomaly revealed further mysteries. Submersible cameras captured close-up images showing surfaces that appeared polished and unusually flat, while other sections seemed to feature jagged edges and formations resembling walls or pillars. Divers reported a strange sensation while exploring the site, describing it as alien or otherworldly, a feeling compounded by the eerie silence and darkness of the deep sea. Despite extensive exploration, no definitive artifacts or signs of human habitation have been found, leaving the origin of the anomaly shrouded in uncertainty. The combination of size, shape, and apparent design makes it one of the most fascinating and enigmatic underwater discoveries in recent history. Speculation surrounding the Baltic Sea anomaly ranges from the plausible to the extraordinary. Some geologists maintain that it could be a glacial formation, sculpted by retreating ice sheets at the end of the last ice age, which might explain its unusual shape and terraces. Others, however, suggest that the anomaly could be an artificial structure, an ancient, submerged monument created by a civilization lost to history. More sensational theories propose that it could even be a sunken spacecraft or a remnant of extraterrestrial origin, a claim fueled by its disc-like shape and the stark contrast with the surrounding natural landscape. Regardless of the theory, the anomaly has captivated both scientific and public imagination, drawing explorers, conspiracy theorists, and researchers to the Baltic in hopes of uncovering its secrets. The mystery deepens when considering the anomaly's location. The Baltic Sea has long been a crossroads of human history, with countless shipwrecks, trade routes, and ancient settlements in the surrounding regions. Some researchers speculate that the disc-shaped formation could be linked to ancient maritime civilizations, a submerged site intentionally constructed for ceremonial, strategic, or other purposes. Others suggest that it may have been part of a larger network of structures, now lost beneath rising sea levels and centuries of sediment accumulation. Its isolation in the middle of the sea, coupled with its geometric complexity, challenges our understanding of ancient engineering and the extent to which early civilizations could manipulate natural landscapes. The Baltic Sea anomaly also highlights the limitations of modern technology in fully exploring the deep. While sonar and remotely operated vehicles provide detailed imaging and measurements, the site remains largely inaccessible for extended human exploration due to depth, low temperatures, and unpredictable conditions. The layers of sediment and marine growth further obscure the structure, complicating efforts to analyze it definitively. Every dive, however, uncovers new details: ridges that resemble steps, protrusions that look like walls, and surfaces that suggest deliberate shaping. Yet even with advanced equipment, the anomaly retains a sense of elusiveness, as if deliberately guarding its secrets from prying eyes. Public fascination with the Baltic Sea anomaly has only grown since its discovery. Documentaries, articles, and online forums speculate endlessly about its origin, purpose, and significance. The disc-shaped formation has been compared to everything from ancient temples to UFOs, reflecting humanity's desire to find meaning in the unknown. It has become a symbol of the ocean's capacity to preserve mysteries, a reminder that even in the 21st century, the depths of the sea can still challenge our understanding of history, geology, and the natural world. For scientists, it is a puzzle to be solved. For the public, it is a portal into the imagination, a tangible connection to the unknown. The Baltic Sea anomaly also invites comparison with other underwater sites, such as the terraces of Yonaguni in Japan and the submerged city near Cuba. Across oceans and continents, we find recurring patterns: massive blocks, geometric alignments, terraces, and seemingly deliberate layouts. These parallels suggest that the anomaly may not be an isolated occurrence, but part of a broader phenomenon, evidence of civilizations, natural or artificial, whose traces are hidden beneath the waves. The similarities are striking enough to challenge conventional explanations, prompting researchers to consider the possibility of a shared history or ancient knowledge that has been lost over millennia. Ultimately, the Baltic Sea anomaly is more than just a strange formation on the ocean floor. It is a reminder that the depths of our planet remain largely unexplored, holding secrets that challenge our understanding of human history and the natural world. Whether it is the product of glacier, tectonic forces, or an intelligent hand, the anomaly demands attention, curiosity, and investigation. It stands as a monument to mystery, a testament to the ocean's ability to preserve what we cannot yet fully comprehend. For explorers, scientists, and dreamers alike, the Baltic Sea anomaly is an invitation to look deeper, think differently, and confront the unknown, reminding us that beneath the waves lies a hidden history waiting to be discovered. Long before the advent of sonar, submersibles, and deep-sea exploration, humans had already tried to make sense of the oceans through maps. Ancient cartographers, relying on first-hand observations, legends, and reports from sailors, created charts that hinted at lands and structures long lost beneath the waves. Some of these maps are remarkably detailed, showing coastlines, islands, and features that defy conventional understanding of history. Among these maps are examples that continue to puzzle historians and researchers, suggesting knowledge of lands that had already vanished beneath rising seas thousands of years ago. They raise the tantalizing question: could ancient civilizations have had access to information we are only now beginning to rediscover, or even evidence of lost civilizations submerged long before modern history began? One of the most famous examples is the Piri Reis map, created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis. This map shows the coastlines of Europe, Africa, and, most intriguingly, the northern regions of South America and even parts of Antarctica. What makes the Piri Reis map so astonishing is its accuracy in depicting coastlines that were supposedly unknown at the time, particularly Antarctica, which would not be officially discovered until centuries later. Some researchers suggest that the map is based on ancient sources, perhaps even predating recorded history, passed down through generations and preserved in the form of maps and navigational charts. Could these ancient documents contain fragments of knowledge from civilizations that existed long before ours, now lost to time and the ocean's rising tides? Other ancient maps add to the mystery. Medieval and Renaissance maps sometimes depict islands and coastlines that do not correspond to any known landmasses, or they show features now submerged beneath modern seas. Legends accompanying these maps often speak of floods, lost kingdoms, and continents swallowed by the ocean. For instance, certain depictions of the legendary continent of Atlantis or other sunken lands appear on maps dating back hundreds of years, suggesting that knowledge of these places may have persisted through oral tradition or earlier documentation. While skeptics argue that these could be errors, artistic license, or myths, The consistency of certain features across different maps hints at the possibility of real geographic knowledge that has been erased by rising sea levels or cataclysmic events. One particularly compelling aspect of these ancient maps is their potential correlation with modern underwater discoveries. The shapes, alignments, and locations of some submerged anomalies, such as those off the coasts of Japan, Cuba, and the Baltic Sea, appear to coincide with hints depicted in these centuries-old maps. While it is impossible to establish a direct connection, the possibility is tantalizing. If ancient mapmakers had knowledge of submerged structures, it would imply a level of exploration, observation, or information gathering far beyond what conventional history recognizes. The maps might be fragments of a larger, forgotten record, documenting coastlines, cities, and civilizations lost to the oceans thousands of years ago. The use of geometry and proportionality in some ancient maps further deepens the intrigue. Certain maps reveal remarkably accurate distances between distant locations, precise scaling, and alignment with natural features such as rivers, mountains, and coastlines. This level of sophistication suggests that ancient cartographers were not merely drawing from imagination. They were recording observations, measurements, or inherited knowledge that carried real-world accuracy. If these maps were indeed based on information from civilizations that existed before recorded history, it raises profound questions. How did these people acquire such precise geographical understanding? Did they have advanced navigation tools, astronomical knowledge, or surveying techniques that were lost with the submergence of their lands? Some researchers argue that the maps may also contain clues about catastrophic events. Rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, estimated at around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, submerged vast tracts of coastal lands. Ancient maps, preserved through generations, may reflect memories of these floods, encoded in the depictions of coastlines, islands, and shallow waters that no longer exist. In this sense, the maps are not merely guides to navigation. They are time capsules, preserving information about a vanished world. For explorers of the modern era, these maps provide a tantalizing roadmap, hinting at where submerged structures and anomalies may lie beneath the waves. The combination of legend, observation, and ancient knowledge makes these maps uniquely compelling. They represent humanity's earliest attempts to document the world, blending empirical observation with the myths and memories of a lost past. For modern researchers, the challenge is to discern which features correspond to reality and which belong to the realm of myth. This endeavor is made all the more fascinating by the fact that some ancient maps appear to correspond, at least in part, with anomalies we are only now discovering on the seafloor. Could the cartographers have been recording memories of civilizations like those suggested by the Yonaguni terraces, the Cuban underwater city, or the Baltic Sea anomaly? The idea is provocative, suggesting that human knowledge is far more ancient and persistent than we often assume. Ultimately, ancient maps are more than historical curiosities. They are clues, whispers from the past that beckon us to explore the ocean depths. They remind us that the seas hold secrets not only of natural history but of human history itself, recording civilizations, cities, and landscapes now lost beneath the waves. The maps inspire both wonder and investigation, suggesting that the mysteries of the ocean are not merely random anomalies but perhaps traces of a broader story, a hidden chapter in human civilization that we are only beginning to uncover. They challenge us to rethink our assumptions, to question the limits of recorded history, and to explore the oceans with a sense of curiosity and reverence for what lies beneath. The story of humanity, it seems, is written not only on land but in the depths of the seas, waiting to be rediscovered. Across the globe, myths and legends of great floods have persisted for millennia, transcending geography, culture, and time. From the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia to the biblical story of Noah's Ark, from the Hindu tale of Manu to the Native American and Polynesian flood narratives, countless societies recount a cataclysmic deluge that reshaped the world. While these stories were often dismissed as allegorical or symbolic, modern research into rising sea levels and submerged landscapes suggests they may contain kernels of historical truth. Could these enduring flood legends be echoes of real events, cataclysmic rises in the oceans that submerged entire civilizations, leaving only memory and myth behind? The answer may lie beneath the waves, in the anomalies and formations we are only beginning to explore. The timing of these floods is particularly compelling. Geological evidence indicates that at the end of the last ice age, roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, melting glacier caused sea levels to rise dramatically, sometimes by several meters per century. Coastal settlements, thriving along the edges of now submerged continents and islands, would have faced devastation as entire regions were swallowed by the encroaching seas. Archaeologists speculate that many early human settlements were lost during this period, leaving behind only faint traces beneath the ocean floor. In this context, the flood myths may represent the cultural memory of these disasters, stories preserved through oral tradition, later codified in scripture and epic poetry. The consistency of these myths across unrelated cultures hints at a shared human experience, one shaped by the overwhelming power of nature. The connection between ancient flood legends and underwater anomalies becomes particularly striking when we examine specific sites. The terraces of Yonaguni in Japan, for instance, date back thousands of years and were likely above sea level at the end of the Ice Age. Similarly, submerged structures off the coast of Cuba and the mysterious Baltic Sea anomaly all appear in regions where rising waters would have dramatically reshaped coastlines. These formations may represent remnants of the civilizations that inspired the flood myths, societies that engineered monumental structures and urban layouts, only to be claimed by the ocean. In this light, the myths are more than symbolic tales. They may be distorted memories of historical cataclysms, encoded across generations and preserved in human consciousness. Different cultures describe these floods with both vivid imagery and moral undertones. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh recounts how the gods decided to wipe out humanity, sparing only a righteous man and his family, who survived by building a vessel. The biblical story of Noah follows a similar narrative. A deity warns a chosen man of a great flood, instructing him to construct an ark to preserve life. In India, the tale of Manu describes a divine fish guiding the protagonist to safety amid rising waters. Polynesian and Native American traditions also include stories of great floods that reshaped islands and coastlines. Across these narratives, common elements emerge: rising water, a chosen survivor or survivors, and a world transformed by catastrophe. Could these shared motifs be cultural echoes of a global sea level rise, preserved even as languages, religions, and civilizations evolved? Scientific research into paleoclimatology and geology supports these legends in surprising ways. Studies of sediment cores, submerged river valleys, and coastal deposits reveal evidence of sudden inundation events, sometimes corresponding with the estimated timelines of the flood myths. Archaeologists and marine geologists have identified submerged settlements that would have been viable land habitats before rising waters claimed them. Coral terraces, ancient shorelines, and artifacts discovered beneath the sea all suggest human habitation long before conventional historical records begin. In many cases, these findings correspond with regions described in myths, suggesting that the stories may have been rooted in actual events rather than purely imaginative tales. The ocean, in effect, acts as both grave and archive, preserving the memory of civilizations that existed and vanished long before written history. The persistence of flood myths also raises profound questions about human memory, storytelling, and cultural transmission. How could such similar narratives emerge independently across distant civilizations? One possibility is that catastrophic sea level rise was a near-universal experience for early human populations. As coastal communities were forced to migrate or were engulfed by the ocean, the stories of these events would have been passed down, altered, and codified over generations. The consistency of the myths, sometimes separated by thousands of miles, points to a shared understanding of survival, catastrophe, and resilience, suggesting that these events left an indelible mark on human consciousness. Oral tradition, in this sense, becomes a form of historical record, bridging the gap between prehistory and recorded history. The connection between myth and submerged archaeology also sparks tantalizing speculation about the sophistication of ancient civilizations. If flood legends are based on real events, then the structures beneath the waves, such as Yonaguni, Cuba, and other underwater anomalies, may represent remnants of cultures capable of significant architectural and societal achievement. These societies would have needed knowledge of engineering, mathematics, and urban planning, skills that were thought to emerge much later in human history. The possibility that early humans built cities, monuments, and complex layouts before being forced to abandon them challenges conventional narratives, suggesting that our understanding of prehistory may be incomplete, shaped by the loss of coastal civilizations to rising seas. Ultimately, flood legends and underwater anomalies converge to tell a story of human resilience, ingenuity, and vulnerability. They remind us that the ocean is not just a vast, empty expanse, but a living archive, preserving the traces of civilizations that have come and gone. From the terraces of Yonaguni to the submerged city near Cuba, and from ancient maps to myths shared across continents, the evidence points toward a history far richer and more complex than textbooks acknowledge. The floods of legend may have been catastrophic, but they also preserved a legacy, silent, hidden, and waiting beneath the waves, to be rediscovered by those willing to explore the depths and confront the mysteries of the past. Rising sea levels have shaped the Earth in ways that humans are only beginning to fully comprehend. Today, we monitor glacier, ice sheets, and tides with advanced technology. Yet even modern societies are vulnerable to the slow creep of water. Thousands of years ago, the rise of the oceans after the last ice age reshaped the planet on an epic scale. Ice caps melted, waters surged, and coastal regions that had been thriving centers of human habitation were gradually swallowed by the seas. Entire landscapes, from fertile plains to bustling settlements, vanished beneath the waves, leaving only submerged traces to hint at the civilizations that once existed there. For archaeologists and oceanographers, these sunken lands offer a tantalizing glimpse into humanity's forgotten past, a past hidden, preserved, and occasionally revealed by the ever-changing ocean. The post-Ice Age period, roughly 12,000 to 7,000 years ago, was a time of dramatic environmental transformation. As glacier receded, the volume of water in the oceans increased, raising sea levels by tens of meters over relatively short geological periods. Coastal communities, often the most advanced due to access to marine resources, faced displacement or annihilation. Sites that may have been cultural or economic hubs were engulfed, leaving behind only submerged terraces, pillars, and blocks that modern explorers now encounter. For centuries, these underwater formations lay invisible, obscured by sediment, marine growth, and the ocean's depths, until sonar, submersibles, and underwater archaeology finally began to unveil their outlines. What was once lost to time now emerges as a haunting and enigmatic record of human resilience and creativity. Submerged civilizations can be found in multiple regions around the globe, hinting at a pattern of human settlement intimately tied to now-vanished coastlines. The terraces of Yonaguni in Japan, for example, likely existed above sea level during the post-Ice Age era, forming part of a broad network of early settlements along the Pacific Rim. Off the coast of Cuba, massive blocks and geometric formations suggest an organized urban landscape that predates modern historical knowledge. Even the Baltic Sea anomaly, with its disc-shaped formation, may represent remnants of human activity from a period when the sea levels were lower. Each site shares a common theme. The ocean, once a protective frontier, became a force of erasure, preserving clues of civilizations now hidden from view. Rising sea levels, therefore, act as both destroyer and preserver, erasing cities while safeguarding their mysteries beneath the waves. Geological studies support the notion that rising seas were catastrophic for many early societies. Evidence from sediment cores, submerged riverbeds, and coral terraces indicates rapid inundation events, sometimes occurring over decades rather than centuries. Such events would have overwhelmed early human populations, forcing migration, adaptation, or survival against impossible odds. Archaeological data from coastal regions corroborates these scenarios. Tools, pottery shards, and structural remnants discovered underwater reveal human activity in areas now submerged. These findings challenge the conventional timeline of civilization, suggesting that complex societies with engineering capabilities existed far earlier than previously believed, only to be erased by the slow, relentless advance of the oceans. The consequences of rising sea levels extend beyond physical displacement. They may have influenced culture, mythology, and human memory. Stories of great floods, sunken lands, and lost cities, recurring in multiple cultures across continents, could be direct reflections of these ancient events. The oral traditions preserved knowledge of inundation, warning, and survival, encoding the experiences of entire civilizations into myth, legend, and scripture. The connection between submerged sites and these narratives suggests that humanity's collective memory contains a faint but persistent record of environmental catastrophe, offering a bridge between geology, archaeology, and anthropology. Flood myths, far from being purely symbolic, may thus be cultural echoes of historical events, encoded in story, song, and tradition. Modern exploration of submerged civilizations relies on an interplay of advanced technology and careful interpretation. Sonar mapping provides detailed images of the seafloor, revealing terraces, walls, platforms, and geometric formations. Remotely operated vehicles and submersibles allow for close inspection, capturing photographs, 3D models, and samples for analysis. Radiocarbon dating, sediment analysis, and comparative studies with known civilizations help establish timelines and contexts. Yet despite these advances, many mysteries remain unresolved. Rising sea levels have altered landscapes beyond recognition, and centuries of sediment deposition obscure the original layout and purpose of these structures. Researchers must navigate the tension between what is visible and what has been lost, constructing hypotheses that bridge evidence, imagination, and history. The interplay between human ingenuity and natural forces becomes particularly poignant when examining these sites. Civilizations built cities, terraces, and monumental structures along coastlines, taking advantage of resources, trade routes, and fertile lands. Yet nature, through rising seas, earthquakes, and erosion, eventually reclaimed these spaces, erasing much of their tangible existence. What remains, hidden beneath the waves, is both evidence of human creativity and a testament to the planet's transformative power. Submerged structures like Yonaguni, the Cuban underwater formations, and other global anomalies illustrate a fundamental truth. Human history is inseparable from the natural environment, and our understanding of the past is inseparable from the forces that shaped it. The study of rising sea levels and submerged civilizations also carries implications for modern society. As we confront climate change, melting ice caps, and rising oceans, the stories preserved beneath the waves serve as both warning and guide. Ancient civilizations faced existential threats from water's inexorable advance, and their remnants remind us of the fragility of human settlements in the face of environmental forces. At the same time, the preservation of these civilizations under the sea demonstrates nature's capacity to safeguard history, offering lessons for future exploration, archaeology, and environmental stewardship. The ocean, in this sense, is not merely a frontier of mystery. It is a living archive, holding the memory of humanity's past for those willing to explore, observe, and interpret. Ultimately, rising sea levels and submerged civilizations are inseparable threads in the story of human history. They remind us that our past is not confined to dry land, written records, or monuments visible above the surface. Some of our most profound and enigmatic heritage lies hidden beneath the waves, waiting for sonar, submersibles, and curiosity to reveal it. Each submerged terrace, platform, or geometric formation is a fragment of a story that predates recorded history, a story of ingenuity, survival, catastrophe, and mystery. As we continue to explore the ocean depths, we are not merely charting the unknown. We are reconnecting with the civilizations, cultures, and legacies that shaped humanity long before we began to understand the world. From the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the warm seas of the Caribbean and the Pacific, mysterious stone structures have been discovered across the globe, challenging conventional archaeology and sparking debates that continue to this day. These formations share remarkable similarities despite being separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years. Massive blocks, terraces, pyramidal shapes, and geometric patterns suggest a level of engineering sophistication that is difficult to reconcile with what we know of ancient civilizations. Whether they are submerged beneath the ocean or perched on remote landscapes, these enigmatic structures compel us to question the origins of human ingenuity and the scope of early architectural achievement. One of the most famous examples, the Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan, features enormous terraces and steps that descend beneath the waves like a frozen city. Its angular edges and flat surfaces give the impression of deliberate construction, while pillars and potential roadways suggest a functional layout. Similarly, the underwater formations off Cuba reveal massive stone blocks arranged in linear and geometric patterns, hinting at a cityscape hidden beneath the Caribbean. Both sites share an unsettling precision, suggesting that their builders possessed not only the skill to manipulate massive stone but also the vision to create organized, enduring structures. When combined with other discoveries, such as the disc-shaped Baltic Sea anomaly, a pattern emerges: the global presence of mysterious stone constructions that defy conventional explanations. The prevalence of such formations in regions that have experienced rising sea levels adds another layer of intrigue. Many of these sites would have been above water during the last ice age, at a time when humans were primarily coastal dwellers. As seas rose and swallowed these landscapes, the evidence of human habitation was preserved underwater, hidden from conventional archaeological investigation. Today, sonar imaging, submersibles, and underwater drones reveal structures that were long thought impossible for early humans to construct. Terraces, blocks, and geometric alignments appear not only as anomalies but as markers of civilizations whose existence challenges the conventional timelines of history. Mysterious stone structures are not confined to submerged environments. Across continents, we find massive megalithic constructions that continue to baffle archaeologists. In South America, the stone terraces of Tiwanaku and Pumapunku display precise stone-cutting techniques and complex layouts, suggesting knowledge of advanced engineering and astronomy. In the Middle East and Europe, ancient pyramids, dolmens, and megalithic temples reveal similar patterns. Large-scale structures built with remarkable precision, often aligned with celestial bodies. Despite geographic and cultural differences, the recurrence of these features raises profound questions. Were these independent achievements, or do they reflect a shared knowledge or global influence? Could ancient civilizations have communicated, migrated, or learned from one another in ways that mainstream history has yet to fully recognize? What makes these stone structures particularly enigmatic is not merely their size or complexity, but their apparent mathematical and geometric sophistication. Many formations, whether underwater or on land, exhibit precise right angles, parallel alignments, and proportional relationships that suggest an understanding of geometry and spatial design far beyond what is typically attributed to early societies. Some terraces appear to follow specific ratios or dimensions, hinting at architectural planning and engineering standards. Others seem designed to interact with their environment, such as coastal terraces that may have been aligned with tides, celestial events, or topographical features. The consistency of these patterns across different continents suggests a level of intentionality that is difficult to explain through chance or natural formation alone. In addition to geometry, some stone structures display evidence of advanced stone-cutting techniques. Massive blocks, often weighing several tons, were moved and precisely fitted together without mortar, forming walls, terraces, and pyramids that have endured for millennia. In underwater sites, these stones have been sculpted with flat surfaces and sharp edges, raising questions about the tools and methods used by their builders. Could civilizations that existed thousands of years ago possess the technological capability to cut, transport, and assemble such massive stones? And if so, why does mainstream archaeology often underestimate their sophistication? The global presence of these structures forces us to reconsider assumptions about human capability, ingenuity, and resourcefulness in prehistory. The mystery deepens when we consider the potential purpose of these stone constructions. Were they ceremonial, residential, defensive, or perhaps astronomical in nature? Some terraces and platforms suggest public spaces, plazas, or gathering areas, while others could have been used for ritualistic or observational purposes. Certain alignments correspond to celestial events, such as solstices or equinoxes, indicating an advanced understanding of astronomy. Others may have been functional, designed to facilitate urban planning, agriculture, or maritime activities. The multifunctional nature of these structures underscores the complexity of the societies that built them, hinting at cultural sophistication that challenges the conventional narrative of prehistoric humanity as simple or unsophisticated. Finally, the discovery of mysterious stone structures worldwide emphasizes the ocean's role as both a preserver and a concealer of human history. Submerged terraces, platforms, and blocks are hidden beneath the waves, often invisible to the untrained eye or to conventional exploration methods. Yet their presence, alongside terrestrial counterparts, suggests a global pattern of human ingenuity and architectural ambition. These structures compel us to think beyond isolated discoveries, urging a holistic view of history in which land, sea, and human achievement are intimately connected. They remind us that our understanding of the past is incomplete, shaped not only by what has been discovered but by what remains hidden beneath the vast, mysterious oceans of the world. The advent of sonar technology revolutionized the way humans explore the ocean, transforming the deep sea from a vast, mysterious void into a frontier ripe for discovery. Before sonar, the ocean floor was largely a mystery, known only through shipwrecks, diving expeditions, and the occasional natural formation brought to the surface. Mapping and exploration were slow, limited, and often imprecise. But with sonar, scientists could see beneath the waves, charting massive swaths of the seafloor in unprecedented detail. What emerged from these scans were images of the ocean floor that defied expectation: terraces, geometric patterns, massive stone blocks, and anomalies that suggested the presence of structures far older and more sophisticated than anyone had imagined. Sonar was not just a tool, it was a window into a hidden history that had remained invisible for millennia. One of the earliest and most famous sonar discoveries was the Yonaguni Monument off Japan's coast. Sonar scans revealed an intricate system of terraces, steps, and walls, stretching hundreds of meters across the seafloor. The formations appeared deliberately constructed, with flat surfaces, right angles, and symmetrical alignments that resembled an ancient city. Divers subsequently confirmed the sonar readings, uncovering evidence of terraces, roads, and possible pillars. The precision captured by sonar challenged conventional archaeology. How could a civilization, thousands of years ago, have built such structures with the limited tools known to exist at that time? The Yonaguni discovery demonstrated the transformative power of sonar, revealing details that human eyes could not fully discern from a surface. The Cuban underwater formations, discovered decades later, were similarly illuminated by sonar mapping. Massive blocks arranged in linear and geometric patterns emerged clearly in sonar scans, stretching across the Caribbean seabed. The imagery revealed terraces, platforms, and what appeared to be streets, forming a coherent urban plan frozen beneath the water. While divers had glimpsed portions of the site firsthand, sonar allowed researchers to map the full scale and complexity of the area, providing context for individual discoveries. The resulting 3D reconstructions created a visual narrative of an entire city submerged in the ocean, highlighting patterns and alignments that would have been nearly impossible to discern through manual observation alone. Sonar, in this sense, acts as both eyes and memory, preserving a record of lost human achievement. The Baltic Sea anomaly also benefited immensely from sonar technology. Initially detected as a strange circular formation on the seafloor, the Anomalies. Precise shape and dimensions were revealed only through sonar imaging. The scans highlighted straight lines, angular features, and unusual terraces, sparking speculation about artificial origins. Without sonar, the anomaly would have remained an indistinct shadow on the seabed, its unique features obscured by sediment and poor visibility. Today, sonar continues to provide detailed maps of the formation, enabling researchers to explore potential architectural patterns, structural anomalies, and the geological context of the site. The Baltic Sea case illustrates how sonar can transform an initial curiosity into a subject of rigorous, though controversial, study. Sonar discoveries are not limited to these high-profile sites. Across the globe, oceanographers and archaeologists have used sonar to identify submerged ruins, ancient riverbeds, and anomalies that hint at civilizations long forgotten. The technology allows for rapid surveying of vast areas, revealing patterns invisible to divers or traditional exploration methods. In some cases, sonar has uncovered what appear to be terraces aligned with celestial events, massive blocks arranged in coherent layouts, and even potential roadways linking submerged settlements. Each scan expands our understanding of the past, forcing historians to confront the possibility that large portions of human history remain hidden beneath the ocean's depths. The implications of sonar for archaeology are profound. Previously, underwater exploration was limited by depth, visibility, and logistics, often resulting in incomplete or anecdotal evidence. Sonar provides a precise, reproducible, and comprehensive way to study the seafloor, allowing researchers to document anomalies, measure dimensions, and analyze spatial relationships. By creating detailed 3D models, sonar enables scientists to test hypotheses about the purpose, construction, and age of underwater formations. It also allows for comparisons between distant sites, revealing patterns that suggest shared knowledge, cultural exchange, or similar responses to environmental changes. In short, sonar transforms the ocean from a place of mystery into a field of scientific inquiry, without stripping away its sense of wonder. Beyond science, sonar discoveries have captured the public imagination, fueling documentaries, books, and online debates about lost civilizations, ancient technology, and forbidden archaeology. The detailed visualizations generated by sonar provide tangible evidence for phenomena that once existed only in legend or speculation. From the terraces of Yonaguni to the Cuban formations and the Baltic Sea anomaly, sonar images make the invisible visible, allowing audiences to engage with mysteries that were previously confined to the imagination. This accessibility has created a global fascination with submerged history, encouraging exploration, research, and discussion on a scale never before possible. Yet sonar also raises new questions. For every anomaly mapped, there are countless regions of the seafloor still unexplored. The technology reveals patterns, but interpretation remains complex. Distinguishing between natural formations and artificial structures is challenging, and the ocean's depth and sediment can obscure key details. Sonar provides the framework for discovery, but the full story often requires divers, ROVs, and multidisciplinary analysis. In this sense, sonar is both a tool and a guide, leading explorers toward mysteries that are often deeper and more complex than initially imagined. Ultimately, sonar has transformed our understanding of the ocean and human history. It uncovers structures hidden for millennia, reveals patterns that challenge conventional narratives, and invites both scientists and the public to reconsider what is possible in prehistory. With each scan, the ocean floor becomes less a mystery and more a record of human achievement, cataclysm, and ingenuity. Sonar has not only changed archaeology, it has given us the ability to see the invisible, bridging the gap between legend, myth, and tangible discovery. and opening a new chapter in humanity's quest to understand its own past. Off the southern coast of Japan, near the Ryukyu Islands, lies a submerged formation that has captivated archaeologists, divers, and conspiracy theorists alike, the Yonaguni Monument. First brought to global attention in the 1980s, this underwater structure presents a bewildering combination of natural formations and apparent architectural design. Stretching over hundreds of meters, the monument features massive terraces, steps, and flat platforms that descend into the dark depths of the Pacific. Its sheer scale and precision challenge conventional understanding of prehistoric civilizations, raising questions about who built it, when it was constructed, and for what purpose. For those who explore it firsthand, Yonaguni feels like a city frozen in time, suspended in water and history, simultaneously familiar and alien. The monument's most striking features are its terraces and steps. These formations, some reaching up to 5 meters in height, appear unnaturally straight and geometrically precise, forming distinct levels that descend into the ocean floor. Some terraces are connected by flat, wide platforms that suggest walkways or public spaces, while others seem to form walls or enclosures. From a distance, the structure resembles a stepped pyramid or ziggurat, its edges sharp and deliberate. Geologists have attempted to explain these formations as products of natural erosion, tectonic activity, or the fracture patterns of sandstone. Yet even skeptics admit that the monument's scale, symmetry, and apparent intentionality are difficult to attribute to purely natural processes, suggesting that some form of human intervention may have played a role. In addition to the terraces, Yonaguni features a series of underwater roads or pathways. These linear depressions cut across the site, connecting different terraces and potentially forming a network of streets or access routes. Divers report that these paths are remarkably straight, with angular turns and alignments that suggest planning and design. Alongside these features are pillars and standing blocks, some of which appear sculpted or shaped. Certain formations even resemble the remains of buildings, plazas, or ceremonial spaces. Together, these elements give the impression of an organized urban layout, a city built with intention, scale, and purpose, a monument to human ingenuity that now rests beneath the waves. The age of Yonaguni remains a subject of intense debate. Estimates vary widely, with some researchers suggesting it could be as recent as 2,000 years old, while others argue for a much older date, potentially 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, placing it in the post-Ice Age period when sea levels were lower. If the older estimates are accurate, the monument could predate known advanced civilizations in East Asia, challenging conventional archaeological timelines. This possibility fuels speculation that a sophisticated, now-lost civilization may have thrived along the coast of what is now Japan, only to be submerged as rising seas gradually claim the land. The Yonaguni Monument, in this context, becomes more than a structure. It is a portal into a forgotten chapter of human history. Divers who explore Yonaguni often describe a sense of or mixed with unease. Swimming among the massive terraces, stepping from platform to platform, and observing the scale of the structures, they report a profound sense of encountering something ancient and purposeful. Visibility is often limited, and currents can be strong, adding a layer of danger to the exploration. Yet each dive reveals new features, potential carvings, depressions that could be foundations, and angular formations that hint at urban planning. The deeper the divers go, the more the monument's scale and complexity emerge, reinforcing the sense that Yonaguni is not merely a natural curiosity but a testament to human ingenuity, or perhaps the ingenuity of a civilization that we have yet to fully understand. Scientific debate surrounding Yonaguni is intense. Some geologists assert that natural erosion, combined with tectonic activity and the inherent properties of sandstone, can explain the terraces and formations. Others argue that the precision and geometry of the site are highly unlikely to be purely natural. Evidence cited by proponents of human construction includes sharp angles, flat surfaces, right-angle corners, and alignment patterns that resemble urban planning. Critics counter that similar natural formations can be found elsewhere, formed by processes such as sediment layering, faulting, and erosion. Yet despite decades of study, no definitive consensus has emerged, leaving the monument suspended between natural wonder and archaeological enigma. The cultural significance of Yonaguni extends beyond archaeology. Local legends speak of sunken cities and lost kingdoms along the Japanese coastline, stories passed down through generations. While often dismissed as myth, these narratives gain a new dimension in light of the monument's discovery. Could the tales preserve a faint memory of the civilization that built Yonaguni, encoded in myth and folklore over millennia? If so, the monument is not only a physical structure but also a cultural touchstone, connecting modern Japan to a prehistoric past that exists at the intersection of myth, memory, and history. Technological advances have allowed researchers to study Yonaguni in unprecedented detail. Sonar mapping, 3D modeling, and underwater photography provide comprehensive views of the terraces, roads, and potential buildings. These tools reveal patterns and alignments invisible to divers alone, highlighting features that suggest deliberate construction. Radiocarbon dating of surrounding sediments offers clues about the timeline of submergence, while geological studies provide context for the natural processes that shape the site. By combining archaeology, geology, and technology, researchers continue to piece together a complex puzzle that could redefine our understanding of prehistoric civilizations. Ultimately, the Yonaguni Monument is a symbol of mystery and discovery. Its terraces, platforms, and geometric alignments challenge conventional wisdom, suggesting the presence of a lost civilization capable of remarkable architectural feats. Whether natural, human-made, or a combination of both, the site forces us to reconsider assumptions about history, engineering, and the capabilities of our ancestors. Yonaguni is more than a submerged formation. It is a window into the past, a place where the ocean preserves secrets that have survived millennia, waiting for those brave enough to dive into the depths and confront the enigma below. Beneath the turquoise waters off the northwest coast of Cuba lies one of the most controversial and enigmatic underwater sites ever discovered, the so-called Cuban underwater city. First brought to light in 2001 through sonar mapping conducted by a team of marine scientists, this formation stretches across several kilometers of the seabed, revealing a complex arrangement of terraces, roads, and geometric patterns. Massive stone blocks, some weighing tens of tons, form what appear to be streets, plazas, and structures aligned in a coherent layout, sparking intense debate over whether these features are natural formations or the remnants of a lost civilization. For researchers and enthusiasts alike, the Cuban site presents a tantalizing puzzle. Could this be evidence of an ancient city, swallowed by the rising seas thousands of years ago, hidden until modern technology allowed its discovery? The sonar imagery is both striking and perplexing. Straight lines, sharp angles, and enormous rectangular blocks appear on the seafloor, forming grids reminiscent of urban planning. Terraces and platforms descend gently into the depths, some seemingly connecting different blocks in a pattern that suggests design rather than randomness. Researchers note that the alignment of certain features is remarkably consistent, raising the possibility that they were purposefully constructed to serve specific functions, such as roads, public spaces, or ceremonial areas. Even more fascinating are formations that resemble plazas or courtyards, open areas surrounded by raised stone walls, evoking the layout of cities across the ancient world. The scale and coherence of these structures challenge conventional archaeological timelines, raising the provocative question: could a sophisticated civilization have existed in the Caribbean long before the era of known historical records? Diving into the Cuban underwater city reveals details that further fuel speculation. Submersible cameras capture terraces with smooth surfaces, blocks fitted closely together, and what appear to be carved steps or ramps. Certain formations suggest structural engineering far beyond what many would expect from pre-Columbian cultures, prompting questions about the tools, techniques, and knowledge available to the builders. Marine biologists and geologists have observed patterns in the stone that do not correspond easily with natural formations caused by sedimentation, erosion, or tectonic activity. The combination of size, geometry, and apparent intent suggests intentional construction, leading some researchers to propose that this site may represent one of the most significant submerged civilizations ever discovered. The Cuban site's age remains uncertain, adding to the mystery. Radiocarbon dating of surrounding sediments and geological analysis suggest that the structures could be over 6,000 years old, possibly dating back to the post-Ice Age era when rising sea levels claimed much of the world's coastal regions. If this estimate is accurate, the site would predate the known civilizations of the Americas, indicating the existence of an advanced society with engineering capabilities previously thought impossible for that era. This possibility has far-reaching implications for our understanding of human history, suggesting that ancient civilizations may have been far more widespread and sophisticated than current models allow. The Cuban underwater city, in this light, is not just a regional curiosity, it is a challenge to the very foundations of historical archaeology. Some researchers draw comparisons between the Cuban site and other underwater anomalies worldwide. The terraces of Yonaguni in Japan, the Baltic Sea anomaly, and submerged formations in the Mediterranean all share characteristics that hint at intentional construction, including geometric precision, terraces, and linear alignments. While these sites are separated by thousands of miles and distinct cultures, The similarities suggest a global pattern: civilizations that flourish near coastlines, only to be engulfed by rising seas and preserved beneath the waves. These parallels encourage a broader view of prehistory, in which advanced societies may have existed across continents, leaving behind traces hidden in the ocean for millennia. Skepticism, however, remains high in the academic community. Critics argue that natural processes, such as tectonic shifts, sedimentation, and coral formation, could produce linear patterns and terraces that mimic human construction. They caution against overinterpreting sonar imagery without extensive direct excavation or in situ analysis, emphasizing that the ocean is a complex and dynamic environment. Yet proponents counter that the scale, symmetry, and coherence of the Cuban formations are difficult to explain naturally, particularly given the presence of features resembling roads, plazas, and architectural layouts. The debate highlights the tension between conventional scientific conservatism and the compelling evidence presented by these underwater anomalies. The potential cultural and historical significance of the Cuban site is immense. If the formations are indeed man-made, they offer a rare glimpse into an advanced civilization lost to the sea, providing insights into urban planning, construction techniques, and societal organization long before recorded history. They also raise questions about why such civilizations disappeared and how their memory was preserved, if at all, in the myths and legends of the Caribbean region. Oral histories, indigenous narratives, and archaeological clues may hold fragments of the story, waiting to be correlated with underwater discoveries to reconstruct a lost chapter of human civilization. Finally, the Cuban underwater city serves as a reminder of the ocean's dual role as both destroyer and preserver. Rising seas may have erased coastal settlements from the surface, yet the depths of the ocean act as a protective archive, shielding structures from weathering, looting, and human interference. Technology such as sonar, submersibles, and 3D modeling allow researchers to study these sites with unprecedented detail, offering a chance to uncover truths that were hidden for millennia. Each dive, each scan, and each analysis adds to the narrative, slowly revealing a history that challenges assumptions and captivates the imagination. Ultimately, the Cuban underwater city is more than an archaeological curiosity. It is a gateway into the mysteries of human history. Whether natural or constructed, the site forces us to reconsider what we know about civilization, technology, and the resilience of coastal societies in the face of environmental change. It underscores the ocean's capacity to preserve secrets and reminds us that much of our past remains hidden beneath the waves, waiting for those with curiosity, courage, and advanced tools to uncover it. In the silent depths off Cuba's coast, an entire world of mystery lies submerged, inviting exploration and challenging our understanding of humanity's ancient past. In the cold, dark depths of the Baltic Sea, roughly 90 meters below the surface, lies one of the most perplexing underwater anomalies ever discovered, the Baltic Sea anomaly. First detected in 2011 by the Ocean X team, a group of Swedish treasure hunters, this formation immediately captured global attention. Sonar scans revealed a circular, disc-like object measuring approximately 60 meters in diameter, with sharp edges, terraces, and unusual features that set it apart from typical geological formations. The anomaly's strange symmetry and distinct shape prompted intense speculation, ranging from natural geological processes to the possibility of a sunken UFO or a lost civilization's artifact. The Baltic Sea anomaly remains one of the most mysterious underwater discoveries of the 21st century, challenging conventional explanations and captivating both scientists and the public alike. The sonar images of the Baltic Sea anomaly are striking. The circular structure rises from the seabed with a slight slope, featuring what appear to be walls, ridges, and flat terraces. Several linear features extend outward, resembling pathways or roads, while a large formation at one end has been described as resembling a staircase or ramp. Divers who examine the site report angular formations, sharp edges, and strange protrusions that seem distinctly unnatural. While erosion and glacial activity can produce odd shapes, the combination of straight lines, right angles, and apparent symmetry has convinced many researchers and enthusiasts that the anomaly may not be entirely natural. Its appearance sparks a sense of wonder and unease, as if the sea has preserved a fragment of something deliberately constructed, long forgotten by human memory. Debates over the anomaly's origin are intense and polarized. Some geologists argue that it is a glacial deposit, formed during the Ice Age as rocks and sediments were shifted and shaped by the movement of ice. According to this theory, the unusual features are the result of natural processes acting over thousands of years. However, proponents of alternative theories point to the structure's geometric precision, distinct terraces, and the apparent presence of walls as evidence of intelligent design. Some even speculate that the anomaly could be the remains of a crashed UFO, citing its disc-like shape and the unusual magnetic readings detected in the area. Others suggest it could be a sunken city or monumental construction from a prehistoric civilization, submerged as rising sea levels claimed the region after the Ice Age. The Baltic Sea anomaly also presents physical and environmental puzzles. The surrounding seabed is composed of soft sediment, which would normally erode or collapse over time, yet the anomaly remains remarkably intact. Magnetic anomalies in the area suggest that metal may be present within or around the formation, adding to the intrigue. Divers have reported unusual structures and formations, but visibility is limited, and strong currents make detailed examination difficult. Despite repeated attempts to analyze the site, including video surveys and limited sample collection, the Baltic Sea anomaly continues to resist definitive explanation, leaving researchers and enthusiasts to speculate based on sonar images, photographs, and fragmentary observations. Some experts consider the anomaly within the context of submerged prehistoric landscapes. At the end of the last ice age, the Baltic region underwent significant changes in sea level, inundating coastal settlements and reshaping the terrain. If the anomaly is man-made, it could represent remnants of a structure or monument built during this period, now preserved beneath the water. In this sense, the Baltic Sea anomaly might be analogous to other submerged sites like Yonaguni in Japan or the Cuban underwater city, examples of human ingenuity preserved under millennia of oceanic sediment. The possibility of a prehistoric origin challenges conventional archaeology, suggesting that sophisticated engineering may have existed far earlier than previously documented in this region. The anomaly's resemblance to a disk or circular object has fueled fascination beyond archaeology. UFO enthusiasts and fringe theorists argue that the formation's shape, symmetry, and apparent terraces indicate extraterrestrial involvement. Some claim that the structure bears striking similarity to spacecraft designs, while others point to the lack of clear terrestrial parallels as evidence that it is unlike any known human construction. These theories, though widely criticized by mainstream scientists, have contributed to the anomaly's enduring allure, capturing the imagination of the public and inspiring documentaries, articles, and extensive online discussion. Whether natural, human-made, or otherworldly, the Baltic Sea anomaly has become a symbol of the ocean's ability to preserve mysteries that defy simple explanation. Scientific analysis continues, albeit with significant challenges. The depth, strong currents, and murky conditions make detailed study difficult, and the sheer size of the formation complicates in situ examination. Sonar remains the primary tool for mapping and analyzing the anomaly, producing 3D images that highlight terraces, protrusions, and linear features. Some researchers have attempted to correlate the anomaly with known geological formations, searching for natural processes that could explain its unique shape. Others focus on its potential archaeological significance, proposing that careful underwater excavation could reveal artifacts or structures that clarify its origin. However, the Baltic Sea's harsh conditions and the costs of underwater research have limited extensive investigation, leaving the anomaly shrouded in both physical and intellectual obscurity. Ultimately, the Baltic Sea anomaly exemplifies the tension between natural explanation and human fascination with the unknown. Its unusual features, preserved beneath the waves for thousands of years, serve as a reminder that the ocean is a vast repository of mysteries, guarding evidence of natural processes, human activity, and possibly phenomena beyond our current understanding. Whether a geological oddity, a sunken monument, or a remnant of a lost civilization, the anomaly challenges assumptions and encourages exploration. It invites us to consider that human history, technology, and even imagination may be intertwined with the secrets preserved on the ocean floor, waiting for discovery, interpretation, and wonder. The Baltic Sea anomaly, in its enigmatic silence, underscores a universal truth. The oceans are not empty voids, but living archives of history, mystery, and possibility. Each sonar scan, dive, and investigation peels back a layer of the unknown, yet more questions arise than answers. In the chilling waters of the Baltic Sea, a formation persists that refuses to conform to conventional explanations, compelling us to confront the limits of knowledge and to wonder at what other secrets lie hidden in the dark, cold depths, silently guarding the past. The mystery of underwater cities has inspired a multitude of theories, ranging from the plausible to the extraordinary, each attempting to explain the origins of structures like Yonaguni, the Cuban underwater city, and the Baltic Sea anomaly. Scientists, archaeologists, and enthusiasts alike debate whether these formations are the products of natural geological processes, the remnants of long-lost civilizations, or evidence of something far more enigmatic. The challenge lies in interpreting fragments of a past that is submerged, eroded, and often obscured by layers of sediment. Yet, as sonar imaging, underwater exploration, and geological analysis advance, a fascinating picture emerges, one that forces us to reconsider what we know about early human history and the capabilities of ancient societies. One prominent theory suggests that many underwater structures are the remains of prehistoric civilizations that thrived during periods of lower sea levels. At the end of the last ice age, glacier melted rapidly, causing the oceans to rise and inundating coastal settlements around the world. Civilizations that once occupied these fertile and strategic coastal regions may have been forced to relocate or were lost entirely to the rising seas. Structures that now appear on the ocean floor could be remnants of temples, city layouts, or monumental constructions built by humans who possess knowledge of engineering, mathematics, and architecture far beyond what conventional history attributes to their era. In this view, myths and legends of floods, sunken lands, and lost kingdoms may preserve cultural memory of these submerged civilizations, encoding events that left an indelible mark on human storytelling. Another explanation posits that some underwater formations, such as terraces and angular structures, are primarily geological in origin. Proponents of this theory argue that natural processes, such as tectonic activity, erosion, and sediment deposition, can produce shapes that mimic artificial construction. For example, sandstone formations can fracture in straight lines, while tidal action can sculpt terraces that appear deliberate. In the case of Yonaguni, some geologists suggest that tectonic shifts combined with the natural layering of sandstone created steps and platforms that seem man-made. Similarly, in the Baltic Sea, glacial movements could have shaped the seabed into peculiar circular or linear patterns. While this theory accounts for some of the features, it often fails to explain the precision, symmetry, and apparent urban layout observed at many sites, leaving room for speculation and further investigation. A third, more controversial theory proposes that underwater structures may have been built or influenced by civilizations with advanced knowledge lost to time. These ideas suggest that early humans, or even unknown cultures, possessed engineering capabilities, understanding of geometry, and architectural skills that rival or exceed what conventional archaeology attributes to them. Massive stone blocks, terraces, and alignment with celestial patterns indicate sophisticated planning and technical expertise. Some researchers speculate that these civilizations could have had contact or shared knowledge across continents, explaining the recurring geometric patterns found in Japan, the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, and elsewhere. If true, such a scenario would force a re-evaluation of the timeline of human development and technological advancement, suggesting that complex societies existed far earlier than historical records acknowledge. Alternative theories, often at the fringes of mainstream science, propose even more extraordinary explanations. Some suggest that the structures are remnants of extraterrestrial influence, citing the geometric precision and scale of formations like the Baltic Sea anomaly or Yonaguni as evidence that surpasses the known capabilities of prehistoric humans. While these ideas are largely speculative and lack definitive proof, they reflect humanity's fascination with the unknown and the tendency to seek explanations beyond conventional paradigms when faced with profound mysteries. Similarly, some proponents of ancient astronaut theories posit that lost civilizations, possibly influenced by otherworldly knowledge, constructed underwater monuments for purposes that remain obscure, whether ritual, observatory, or symbolic. Theories about climate-driven catastrophe also play a role in explaining submerged cities. Rising sea levels, tsunamis, and seismic events may have contributed not only to the submergence of coastal settlements but also to the preservation of their remains. In this sense, the ocean serves as both destroyer and archive, swallowing cities while shielding their structures from erosion, looting, and decay. Terraces, blocks, and platforms are often remarkably preserved under layers of sediment and marine growth, providing researchers with a snapshot of a lost past. Understanding these dynamics allows scientists to contextualize the findings, differentiating between structures that may be artificially created and those shaped primarily by natural forces. Comparative analysis across regions adds another layer to these theories. By studying multiple underwater sites, researchers identify recurring patterns: terraces, angular formations, straight alignments, and blocks of uniform size. These features suggest a level of planning and intentionality that is difficult to attribute purely to natural processes. Moreover, correlations with coastal flood legends, ancient maps, and oral traditions hint at the possibility of widespread knowledge about these submerged lands. Whether these connections represent historical fact, symbolic memory, or coincidence, They fuel the ongoing debate about the origins and purposes of underwater cities, inviting multidisciplinary research spanning archaeology, geology, anthropology, and oceanography. Ultimately, the search for answers about underwater cities highlights humanity's enduring fascination with mystery. Each theory, whether focused on prehistoric civilizations, natural processes, advanced lost knowledge, or even extraterrestrial influence, reflects our desire to understand the past and our place within it. These formations challenge assumptions, inspire exploration, and compel us to consider possibilities beyond conventional history. Underwater cities are more than anomalies. They are a call to curiosity, urging us to probe the depths, analyze evidence rigorously, and imagine the civilizations that may have existed long before our time. In conclusion, the origins of underwater cities remain an open question, but the exploration of these mysteries continues to push the boundaries of knowledge. As technology advances and sonar mapping, submersibles, and underwater archaeology improve, we move closer to uncovering the truth. Whether the structures are natural, human-made, or something beyond our current understanding, they force us to confront the complexity of history and the ingenuity of ancient peoples. Theories abound, and each possibility carries profound implications for how we view human development, civilization, and the enduring mysteries hidden beneath the ocean surface. Maps have long served as humanity's way of understanding the world, charting landscapes, coastlines, and the contours of continents. Yet some ancient maps hint at knowledge far beyond what historians and cartographers would expect for their time. These maps depict coastlines, islands, and even submerged lands that modern science claims were unknown to ancient civilizations. In the context of underwater cities and lost civilizations, these ancient maps offer tantalizing clues, suggesting that some peoples may have possessed knowledge of lands that were later engulfed by rising seas. The possibility that maps preserved memory of sunken continents challenges our conventional understanding of history, archaeology, and human exploration. One of the most frequently cited examples is the Piri Reis map, created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis. While primarily focused on the known world, the map includes a remarkable depiction of the coastline of South America, as well as features that some researchers argue represent parts of Antarctica, free of ice. How could a 16th-century map depict lands that were not officially discovered until centuries later? Some speculate that Piri Reis relied on a combination of ancient maps, sailor reports, and perhaps even oral histories passed down through generations, preserving knowledge of continents that were submerged or forgotten. The precision and scope of his maps suggest that ancient civilizations may have recorded information about the world with a sophistication that modern historians have largely overlooked. Similarly, maps from the ancient Greek and Egyptian worlds reveal intriguing details. Certain maps show coastlines that correspond to areas now underwater, suggesting that their creators had either first-hand knowledge or access to records of lands that were later lost to the sea. The level of accuracy, particularly in regions like the Mediterranean and near the Persian Gulf, hints at a deep understanding of geography, topography, and the relationships between land and water. These maps may preserve snapshots of human habitation in regions that were later inundated, offering potential explanations for submerged sites like Yonaguni, the Cuban underwater city, or terraces in the Baltic Sea. By studying these maps, researchers hope to correlate cartographic records with archaeological and geological evidence, piecing together a more complete picture of ancient human activity. The significance of ancient maps extends beyond cartography. They may also preserve cultural and historical memory. Many maps include annotations, symbols, and references to rivers, mountains, or settlements that no longer exist. These details suggest that maps were not merely tools for navigation, but also repositories of knowledge, encoding information about trade routes, urban centers, and even catastrophes such as floods or seismic events. In this sense, maps function as a bridge between myth, history, and empirical observation, offering a window into how ancient civilizations perceived their world. For underwater archaeologists, such maps are invaluable, potentially pointing the way to sites that have yet to be explored beneath the ocean surface. Some researchers have attempted to use ancient maps as guides for locating submerged structures. By overlaying historical cartography with modern sonar data, they identify potential sites of lost cities, terraces, and human-made formations. For example, correlations between certain coastal outlines on ancient maps and sonar image seafloors have sparked new expeditions, uncovering features that had previously gone unnoticed. These efforts highlight the potential for maps to preserve knowledge across centuries, suggesting that ancient civilizations may have understood their environments in ways that were far more advanced than previously acknowledged. In this context, maps are not merely historical artifacts, they are tools for discovery, revealing a lost world hidden beneath the waves. The accuracy of these maps continues to challenge conventional history. Critics argue that distortions, inaccuracies, or artistic embellishments may account for unusual features, cautioning against overinterpretation. Yet, when multiple maps from different cultures depict similar coastlines or features, the possibility of a shared, long-lost knowledge becomes harder to dismiss. Could there have been a global network of knowledge that recorded the positions of continents, islands, and coastlines before sea levels changed dramatically? And if so, why was this knowledge lost to subsequent generations? These questions remain central to the debate over ancient maps, connecting cartography, archaeology, and the study of submerged civilizations. Ancient maps also shed light on human migration and settlement patterns. By indicating regions that were habitable in the past but are now underwater, they help explain why certain artifacts, structures, or terraces appear in unexpected locations. Coastal settlements would have been attractive for early humans due to access to water, fertile land, and trade opportunities. When sea levels rose, these communities were displaced or lost, leaving behind traces that survive only in legends, oral traditions, and, sometimes, maps. Understanding these patterns allows researchers to contextualize underwater discoveries, offering a lens through which to interpret terraces, platforms, and urban layouts preserved beneath the ocean. Finally, ancient maps inspire wonder and curiosity, challenging our assumptions about the limits of human knowledge. They suggest that our ancestors may have observed, recorded, and transmitted information about the world in ways that rival modern techniques. In combination with sonar discoveries, underwater excavations, and geological analysis, these maps form part of a broader tapestry that hints at civilizations, cities, and landscapes hidden beneath the waves. They remind us that history is not linear, that knowledge can be lost and rediscovered, and that the oceans guard secrets that may forever challenge our understanding of the past. In conclusion, ancient maps serve as both clues and mysteries in the quest to uncover submerged civilizations. They preserve evidence of lost lands, offer guidance for exploration, and connect myth, legend, and empirical observation. By studying these maps alongside underwater discoveries, we begin to see the contours of a hidden world, one shaped by rising seas, human ingenuity, and the enduring mysteries of history. These cartographic relics remind us that the past is not only buried beneath sediment and water, but also encoded in the records left behind by civilizations who once charted a world that we are only now beginning to rediscover. Flood myths and legends permeate cultures around the world, from the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical account of Noah's Ark, and from Hindu texts describing Manu to indigenous stories along the Americas coastlines. These narratives share common themes: great deluges that reshape the land, the destruction of civilizations, and the survival of a select few. For centuries, historians dismissed these tales as allegorical or symbolic, mere stories meant to impart moral or spiritual lessons. Yet, when examined alongside evidence of submerged structures, terraces, and ancient coastlines, these legends gain a startling new dimension. Could these myths be echoes of real events, memories of catastrophic floods and rising seas that claimed human settlements and reshaped civilizations? Geological and climatic studies support the possibility of massive ancient floods. During the end of the last ice age, between 12,000 and 7,000 years ago, melting glacier caused global sea levels to rise dramatically, sometimes by as much as 120 meters. Coastlines shifted, river valleys flooded, and entire regions were submerged. Catastrophic events, such as tsunamis triggered by seismic activity or meteor impacts, would have compounded these changes, wiping out coastal settlements in moments. Evidence from submerged terraces, cities, and platforms suggests that many early human populations lived in these now submerged areas. Structures off the coasts of Japan, Cuba, and in the Baltic Sea provide tangible hints that civilizations may have been directly impacted by these deluges, perhaps inspiring the flood legends passed down through generations. The widespread nature of flood myths suggests a shared experience across disparate cultures. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh recounts how Utnapishtim survives a great flood that destroys humanity, while in the Bible, Noah builds an ark to save his family and a selection of animals. Across the Pacific, Polynesian stories describe rising seas and disappearing islands, while Native American tribes recall ancestral lands swallowed by water. Even in Asia, Hindu texts describe Manu constructing a boat to withstand a great flood. While the details vary, the core theme is strikingly consistent. The Earth was once dramatically reshaped by water, leaving survivors to recount the event in oral tradition. These shared memories suggest that ancient peoples may have witnessed, and survived, catastrophic rises in sea level. Archaeological discoveries support the plausibility of these flood legends. Submerged cities and terraces, such as Yonaguni in Japan or the underwater formations near Cuba, indicate that humans built significant structures in regions now beneath the waves. Radiocarbon dating places many of these sites in periods consistent with post-ice age sea level rises. The existence of these structures provides a possible real-world explanation for the myths, showing that catastrophic flooding was not simply allegorical but could have been a profound, tangible event that altered the course of civilizations. These discoveries suggest that the legends may have been attempts to preserve collective memory of sudden environmental upheaval, encoded in narrative form to survive across generations. In addition to the historical and archaeological perspective, these legends reveal insights into human adaptation and resilience. Communities faced with rising seas or sudden deluges may have migrated inland, developed advanced engineering to manage water, or constructed elevated settlements. Stories of survival, boats, and refuges may reflect actual strategies employed by ancient peoples. By analyzing these narratives alongside submerged archaeological sites, researchers can begin to reconstruct how societies adapted to catastrophic events. The presence of terraces, platforms, and massive stone blocks underwater suggests deliberate construction intended to withstand or accommodate environmental change, hinting at sophisticated engineering knowledge that predates known historical records. Some scholars propose that flood myths may also encode information about astronomical or climatic events. For example, sudden melting of glacier could have triggered rapid sea level rise, tsunamis, or significant shifts in weather patterns. Comet or meteor impacts may have generated localized flooding, further contributing to the destruction of coastal civilizations. Oral traditions, passed down over millennia, may preserve kernels of this knowledge, warning future generations of the destructive potential of water. In this context, myths are not only moral or religious allegories, they are repositories of empirical observation, cultural memory, and historical warning. The psychological impact of these floods on ancient populations cannot be understated. The sudden loss of land, resources, and homes would have been traumatic, inspiring stories that frame the events in human terms. Myths describe divine wrath, punishment, or cosmic judgment, perhaps reflecting attempts to make sense of incomprehensible disasters. At the same time, stories of survival, ingenuity, and divine protection illustrate the resilience of human communities. These narratives resonate across cultures because they reflect universal experiences of loss, adaptation, and hope, emotions that transcend time and geography, linking ancient populations to our own contemporary understanding of catastrophe and survival. Finally, the convergence of flood myths with underwater discoveries challenges modern assumptions about history. If these legends are based on actual events, they suggest that humanity once inhabited areas now lost beneath the oceans, that early civilizations were more widespread and sophisticated than previously believed, and that the collective memory of these events survived for millennia through stories, maps, and cultural transmission. Flood myths, once dismissed as purely symbolic, may therefore hold keys to understanding the locations, structures, and technologies of submerged civilizations. By studying these narratives in conjunction with sonar imaging, underwater archaeology, and geological data, researchers begin to piece together a more complete picture of a world reshaped by water, a past hidden beneath waves yet preserved in human memory. In conclusion, ancient flood legends provide a compelling framework for understanding submerged civilizations. They connect myth, history, and archaeology, offering evidence that rising seas and catastrophic events influenced human settlement, culture, and memory. The echoes of these deluges, preserved in stories from every corner of the globe, suggest that humanity has long grappled with the power of water, adapting, surviving, and encoding lessons for future generations. When combined with tangible underwater discoveries, these myths take on new significance, pointing to a lost world beneath the waves and reminding us that the oceans hold secrets far older and more profound than we have yet imagined. Rising sea levels have shaped the course of human history in ways that are often overlooked, yet their impact is profound and far-reaching. Across the globe, coastlines that once hosted thriving communities are now submerged beneath the waves, leaving behind terraces, stone structures, and artifacts preserved underwater for millennia. The end of the last ice age triggered one of the most dramatic episodes of sea level rise in human history, as melting glacier released vast quantities of water, flooding river valleys, low-lying plains, and coastal settlements. Modern studies suggest that within just a few thousand years, sea levels rose by more than 100 meters, transforming landscapes and forcing entire civilizations to migrate, adapt, or vanish. The story of these submerged worlds is written in sediment, sonar images, and the remnants of terraces and blocks that hint at once thriving societies. Coastal civilizations were particularly vulnerable to these changes. Areas that offered fertile soil, abundant resources, and strategic trade routes became increasingly perilous as the seas advanced. Archaeological evidence indicates that many ancient settlements, from the coasts of Japan to the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, existed at or near sea level. The terraces of Yonaguni, for example, are thought to have been constructed during a time when sea levels were significantly lower, suggesting a once thriving community that later became engulfed. Similarly, the Cuban underwater city shows a network of roads, plazas, and terraces that now lie tens of meters below the surface, evidence of coastal settlements lost to rising waters. These discoveries provide tangible proof that human populations were directly affected by dramatic environmental changes, with their architectural achievements preserved. Beneath the sea. The mechanics of sea level rise are complex, involving the interplay of glacial melt, thermal expansion, and tectonic shifts. During the last ice age, enormous glacier covered much of the northern hemisphere, locking away vast amounts of water. As the climate warmed, these glacier melted, releasing water that gradually raised global sea levels. This rise was not uniform. Some regions experienced rapid inundation, while others were affected more slowly due to local geological factors. Coastal plains, river deltas, and islands were often the first to disappear, leaving human communities with little time to adapt. Archaeological evidence suggests that populations responded by relocating inland, constructing elevated settlements, or modifying their architecture to withstand periodic flooding. In many cases, however, the rising seas overwhelmed human adaptation, submerging cities, roads, and temples, leaving only submerged terraces and stone formations as witnesses to the past. Submerged sites offer compelling insights into the relationship between human civilization and environmental change. Terraces, platforms, and massive stone blocks provide evidence of intentional construction, reflecting urban planning, religious practices, and societal organization. The scale of these structures suggests advanced engineering knowledge, indicating that ancient civilizations were capable of building in challenging environments and adapting to the demands of their surroundings. In some cases, the alignment of terraces and platforms with celestial events suggests that cultural or spiritual practices were intertwined with environmental observation, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of nature. Rising seas, therefore, not only shaped human migration but also influenced the design and function of early settlements, leaving clues that continue to puzzle modern researchers. The psychological and cultural impacts of submergence cannot be understated. Losing one's homeland to the sea would have been a profound shock, likely inspiring myths, legends, and rituals centered on water, floods, and divine intervention. Across cultures, stories of sunken cities, lost kingdoms, and catastrophic deluges reflect collective memory of environmental upheaval. In many cases, these narratives encode survival strategies, such as the construction of elevated platforms, boats, or relocation plans, preserving knowledge for future generations. By linking these myths to archaeological and geological evidence, researchers gain a richer understanding of how ancient populations responded to rising seas, revealing the interplay between culture, memory, and environmental adaptation. Modern technology has revolutionized our ability to study submerged civilizations affected by sea level rise. Sonar mapping, 3D modeling, and underwater photography allow researchers to reconstruct submerged landscapes with remarkable accuracy. Sites like Yonaguni, the Cuban underwater city, and terraces in the Baltic Sea are now being analyzed in ways that reveal patterns, alignments, and urban planning strategies previously inaccessible to human eyes. These technologies provide context for submerged structures, helping to distinguish between natural formations and human construction, and offering insights into the scale, sophistication, and purpose of lost coastal settlements. By combining archaeological evidence with environmental and geological data, scientists can piece together a timeline of inundation events, migration patterns, and cultural responses to rising waters. The global scope of sea level rise underscores its significance in shaping human history. Submerged cities are not isolated phenomena but part of a broader narrative of environmental change and human adaptation. From Japan to the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, and beyond, rising seas forced civilizations to confront challenges that influence settlement patterns, architecture, and even mythology. Understanding these patterns provides a new lens through which to view underwater discoveries. revealing connections between sites separated by thousands of miles. It also challenges assumptions about the linearity of human development, suggesting that entire civilizations may have existed, thrived, and disappeared long before recorded history, leaving only submerged terraces and sonar images as evidence of their existence. Ultimately, the story of rising sea levels and disappearing coastal civilizations is both cautionary and awe-inspiring. It reminds us that human achievement is often at the mercy of environmental forces and that the ocean preserves a record of past ingenuity, resilience, and adaptation. Submerged sites offer a window into a lost world, revealing the scale of ancient engineering, the sophistication of early societies, and the profound impact of environmental change on human history. As sonar scans continue to uncover terraces, roads, and platforms beneath the waves, we are reminded that much of the human story remains hidden, waiting for discovery in the silent depths of the oceans. In conclusion, rising sea levels have reshaped our planet and our history, swallowing civilizations while preserving their legacy underwater. Terraces, submerged roads, and stone platforms serve as testimony to human resilience and ingenuity in the face of environmental upheaval. By studying these submerged sites, we uncover evidence of civilizations that adapted, survived, and ultimately succumbed to the relentless advance of the sea. These discoveries challenge our understanding of the past, reveal the fragility of coastal settlements, and inspire awe at the enduring mysteries hidden beneath the waves, where lost worlds await their rediscovery. Beneath the ocean's surface, terraces, platforms, and massive stone blocks tell a story of ancient ingenuity that challenges our understanding of prehistoric engineering. Sites such as Yonaguni in Japan, the Cuban underwater city, and various submerged Mediterranean formations display characteristics that suggest deliberate design, careful planning, and advanced construction techniques. The scale and precision of these structures hint at knowledge that conventional archaeology often attributes to later civilizations, sparking questions about who built them, how they achieved such feats, and what purposes these submerged cities served. Examining the engineering evidence provides a glimpse into a world where human capability may have surpassed what we previously imagined. One of the most striking examples of advanced engineering is the precision of stone cutting and alignment observed in these sites. At Yonaguni, massive sandstone blocks are shaped into terraces with remarkably straight edges and near-perfect right angles. Some steps are uniform in height and width, suggesting a conscious effort to create functional pathways or platforms. Divers and researchers report features resembling walls, roads, and even potential building foundations, all constructed from massive stones that would have required careful measurement and coordination. The uniformity and organization of these formations are difficult to explain through natural geological processes alone, indicating the possibility of intentional human design. In Cuba, the submerged city features terraces, wide platforms, and blocks arranged in grids that resemble urban planning. Roads or pathways, linear and often aligned with geometric precision, connect terraces and structures, suggesting a cohesive city layout. The stone blocks are enormous, some weighing several tons, which implies the use of sophisticated techniques for moving, lifting, and positioning them. Whether through the use of levers, ramps, or other unknown methods, the builders demonstrated an advanced understanding of structural stability and engineering principles. The very existence of these terraces beneath the waves highlights the ingenuity of civilizations capable of creating enduring, large-scale constructions, even in environments vulnerable to rising seas. The alignment and orientation of underwater structures often reveal an additional layer of sophistication. At multiple sites, terraces and blocks appear positioned with reference to celestial events or cardinal directions. Such alignments suggest knowledge of astronomy and its integration into architecture, whether for ceremonial purposes, navigation, or timekeeping. For example, certain platforms at Yonaguni are aligned in ways that could correlate with solstices, hinting at a culture that combined practical construction with cosmological awareness. These findings indicate that the builders were not only skilled in engineering but also possessed an understanding of the natural world, integrating celestial observations into their architectural designs. Terrace construction also demonstrates an understanding of environmental factors and structural stability. Stepped platforms allow for water drainage, erosion control, and weight distribution, indicating that the builders anticipated environmental challenges. In submerged cities, terraces may have been constructed to withstand tidal changes or flooding, demonstrating advanced planning for long-term sustainability. The presence of massive stone blocks arranged in interlocking patterns or foundations suggests knowledge of load distribution and resistance to seismic, oceanic forces. Such engineering sophistication is often considered anachronistic, challenging assumptions about the technical abilities of early civilizations. In addition to construction techniques, the scale of underwater structures indicates advanced project management and social organization. Moving, shaping, and positioning multi-ton stones requires coordinated labor, tools, and planning. These projects would have necessitated a workforce, logistical strategies, and possibly hierarchical structures to oversee construction. The ability to organize such efforts implies complex societal structures, specialized knowledge, and shared cultural or religious motivations to justify and guide the construction of monumental architecture. In essence, the engineering evidence points to not only technological capability but also social sophistication that mirrors, or even predates, historically documented civilizations. The use of terraces and platforms also hints at functional and ceremonial purposes. Terraces may have served as foundations for buildings, public spaces, or ceremonial sites, suggesting that the builders were attentive to both utility and symbolism. Elevated platforms could have been designed to protect important structures from flooding, while open courtyards may have facilitated communal gatherings or ritual activities. By combining practicality with symbolic design, these civilizations demonstrate a holistic approach to construction that integrates daily life, social organization, and cultural expression. This dual function of engineering and culture elevates underwater structures from mere architectural curiosity to evidence of a sophisticated and purposeful society. Natural processes alone struggle to account for many of these features. While erosion, sedimentation, and tectonic activity can create terraces and angular formations, the consistency, scale, and alignment observed at multiple underwater sites suggest deliberate human intervention. The interlocking blocks, straight-edged platforms, and grid-like layouts point toward intentional construction rather than random geological events. By analyzing these patterns across global sites, researchers begin to see a recurring motif: ancient civilizations capable of advanced engineering, monumental construction, and environmental adaptation, often long before they were thought to exist according to conventional historical timelines. Finally, the engineering evidence raises profound questions about our understanding of human history. If civilizations built these massive, precise structures, then the timeline of technological development may need to be reconsidered. Were these sites the product of unknown cultures with advanced knowledge that disappeared with rising seas? Could there have been a global network of early civilizations that shared architectural, engineering, and astronomical expertise? The terraces, platforms, and blocks beneath the waves suggest that the story of human innovation is far more complex than traditional history acknowledges, pointing to a hidden chapter preserved underwater, waiting for discovery and understanding. In conclusion, the evidence of advanced engineering in underwater structures challenges assumptions about ancient civilizations. From precision-cut terraces to interlocking blocks, from urban layouts to astronomical alignments, these sites demonstrate skill, planning, and ingenuity that defy conventional timelines. They reveal a world where human creativity met environmental challenges, producing enduring constructions that survive beneath the waves. Each submerged terrace and stone platform tells a story of technological sophistication, societal organization, and cultural achievement, compelling us to reconsider the limits of prehistoric engineering and the mysteries hidden beneath the ocean's depths. The Baltic Sea anomaly remains one of the most enigmatic underwater discoveries of the 21st century, sparking debates that range from the scientific to the speculative, and even the paranormal. Located approximately 90 meters beneath the Baltic Sea, this circular formation, first discovered by the Ocean X team in 2011, immediately drew attention for its unusual shape, sharp edges, and apparent terraces. Unlike the more expansive submerged cities of Japan or Cuba, the anomaly is striking for its disc-like form, which some have likened to a UFO or otherworldly construct. Its distinct geometry, coupled with anomalous magnetic readings in the area, has kept researchers, divers, and enthusiasts returning to the site, seeking answers that remain elusive even a decade after its discovery. Sonar scans reveal that the anomaly measures roughly 60 meters in diameter and rises slightly from a seabed, forming a dome-like structure with ridges and angular features that challenge conventional explanations. Several formations within the structure resemble steps or terraces, giving the impression of deliberate construction. The anomaly's circular shape is almost too precise to be natural, prompting questions about whether it is the result of geological processes, human construction, or even something far stranger. Divers who have examined the site report sharp edges, flat surfaces, and unusual formations that do not conform easily to typical glacial or sedimentary patterns. These observations fuel ongoing speculation and curiosity, making the Baltic Sea anomaly one of the most studied and most mysterious submerged formations in the world. Geologists have offered several explanations for the anomaly, suggesting that it may be a glacial deposit or a product of the Ice Age. During the last glacial period, glaciers scoured the Baltic Sea floor, leaving behind rocks and sediment in unusual configurations. According to this perspective, the circular shape, terraces, and angular features could result from glacial pressure, erosion, and sediment deposition over thousands of years. While this explanation accounts for some of the anomaly's features, it struggles to explain the scale, symmetry, and apparent intentionality observed in sonar images and photographs. The debate illustrates the tension between naturalistic interpretations and the possibility of a constructed origin, leaving researchers divided and the public fascinated. One of the anomaly's most intriguing characteristics is the presence of unusual magnetic readings. Equipment used by the Ocean X team detected localized magnetic anomalies that suggest metallic content in or near the structure. While the exact source of these readings remains unclear, they have fueled speculation about artificial construction or even the presence of unknown materials. Some theorists argue that the metallic signature could indicate remnants of a vessel or machinery, raising questions about whether the anomaly represents a crashed object or the remains of an ancient technological artifact. Though controversial, these findings add a layer of mystery that deepens the intrigue surrounding the site. Divers have reported features resembling staircases, walls, and ramps within the anomaly, giving the impression of purposeful design. Photographs show patterns that appear too regular and angular to be entirely natural. Some observers note that the structure's flat surfaces and ridges resemble foundations or platforms, suggesting that it could have been constructed for functional or ceremonial purposes. Even the rounded dome shape has drawn comparisons to modern disc-shaped objects, reinforcing fringe theories about extraterrestrial origins. While mainstream scientists remain cautious, the striking imagery continues to captivate audiences and drive speculation about the anomaly's origins. Theories about human construction are equally fascinating. Some researchers propose that the anomaly could be a remnant of a prehistoric civilization that thrived in the Baltic region before the end of the last ice age. As glacier receded and sea levels rose, coastal communities would have been forced to relocate, potentially leaving behind monuments, ceremonial sites, or fortified structures. If the anomaly represents a man-made construction, its preservation beneath the waves could be attributed to the protective qualities of sediment and cold water, which shield stone and other materials from erosion. Such a discovery would dramatically revise our understanding of human technological capabilities in prehistory, highlighting the engineering skills and societal organization required to create large, durable structures. The anomaly has also inspired more speculative and paranormal interpretations. UFO enthusiasts point to its disc-like shape as evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, suggesting that the structure may be a crashed spacecraft or an abandoned alien outpost. Others link the anomaly to ancient flood legends, positing that it represents the remnants of a sunken city or sacred site deliberately submerged. While these theories lack empirical proof, they demonstrate the anomaly's power to capture the imagination, blending mystery, history, and the unknown in a way that few underwater discoveries can. The Baltic Sea anomaly has become a cultural phenomenon, featured in documentaries, online forums, and countless articles, cementing its status as a symbol of the ocean's unexplained secrets. Scientific exploration continues, albeit under challenging conditions. The depth, strong currents, and cold waters make extended dives difficult, and visibility is often limited, complicating detailed study. Submersibles, sonar imaging, and 3D modeling have provided the most reliable insights into the structure, yet they are unable to definitively determine its origin. Each expedition reveals more complexity, angular features, terraces, and potential anomalies, ensuring that the site remains an active focus for both professional researchers and independent explorers. The ongoing study highlights the tension between observation and interpretation, as evidence accumulates without providing a conclusive answer. Ultimately, the Baltic Sea anomaly embodies the mysteries of the deep ocean, where natural processes, human history, and imagination intersect. Whether it is a product of glacial forces, a prehistoric construction, or something beyond our current understanding, the anomaly reminds us of how little we truly know about the underwater world. Each scan, dive, and photograph adds a piece to the puzzle, yet the formation continues to defy simple explanation. Its enigmatic presence challenges scientists, fascinates the public, and underscores the ocean's role as a vast repository of human and natural history, preserving secrets that have remained hidden for thousands of years. In conclusion, the Baltic Sea anomaly remains one of the most compelling and mysterious formations on the ocean floor. With its disc-like shape, angular terraces, unusual magnetic readings, and potential human or extraterrestrial connections. It defies easy categorization. Scientists, divers, and enthusiasts alike continue to explore, debate, and theorize, driven by the allure of the unknown. The anomaly serves as a reminder that the oceans are not merely empty spaces but archives of history, mystery, and possibility. Whether natural or artificial, the Baltic Sea anomaly is a testament to the enduring fascination of submerged worlds and the profound mysteries that lie beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered, studied, and ultimately understood. Off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan, lies a structure that has captivated archaeologists, divers, and enthusiasts for decades, the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered in 1986 by recreational diver Kiichiro Aratake, the monument is a massive underwater formation consisting of terraces, steps, and platforms carved from sandstone. Located approximately 25 meters below the surface, the structure measures hundreds of meters in length and width, with terraces rising like colossal stairs from the ocean floor. Its geometric precision, sheer scale, and resemblance to human-made architecture have sparked heated debates about whether it is a natural formation shaped by tectonic forces or a relic of an ancient, sunken civilization. Yonaguni stands as one of the most striking examples of the mysteries that lie beneath the ocean surface. The terraces at Yonaguni are the first feature to capture attention. The steps are remarkably uniform, with flat surfaces and sharp right angles that suggest deliberate construction. Divers have noted the presence of straight edges and rectangular formations that are atypical of natural sandstone erosion. Some of the terraces form flat platforms that could have served as foundations for structures, public spaces, or ceremonial areas. The organization of these platforms hints at intentional design, with pathways and alignments suggesting a functional layout. Whether these terraces were built for practical, ceremonial, or astronomical purposes remains unknown, but their precision invites speculation about the skill and knowledge of their creators. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Yonaguni Monument is its scale. Some terraces rise several meters above the ocean floor, while others stretch horizontally over hundreds of meters. Massive stone blocks, some weighing several tons, appear to have been positioned deliberately, forming walls, ramps, and potentially even building foundations. Moving and shaping stones of this size requires advanced knowledge of physics, tools, and labor organization, challenging assumptions about prehistoric engineering. The monument's size, combined with its geometric features, has led some researchers to suggest that it was part of a large, organized settlement rather than a solitary monument. If true, Yonaguni could represent evidence of a complex society with architectural, engineering, and social sophistication that predates recorded history. The debate over natural versus artificial origins remains central to the Yonaguni mystery. Geologists argue that tectonic activity, erosion, and the natural fracturing of sandstone could produce terraces and angular formations, explaining many of the monument's features without invoking human construction. Earthquakes and underwater currents have the power to shape rock in ways that mimic architecture, creating steps, platforms, and linear patterns. However, skeptics struggle to account for the consistency, precision, and scale of the terraces, as well as certain features that resemble walls, roads, and plazas. The presence of these elements, combined with evidence of tool marks on some stones, suggests a possible human hand in their formation, though definitive proof remains elusive. The Yonaguni Monument also displays features that hint at astronomical or ceremonial significance. Certain terraces appear aligned with cardinal directions or celestial events, suggesting that the builders may have had knowledge of astronomy. Such alignments could have served ritualistic or calendrical purposes, linking human activity with the movements of the sun, moon, or stars. The integration of environmental observation with monumental construction demonstrates a level of sophistication that is both surprising and compelling, raising questions about the cultural, spiritual, and practical motivations behind the site's creation. If the monument was indeed human-made, it may represent one of the earliest examples of large-scale architectural planning in the world. Submerged by rising seas, Yonaguni offers a glimpse into a world that existed thousands of years ago. Sea levels during the last ice age were significantly lower, allowing human populations to inhabit coastal areas now underwater. As glacier melted and the ocean encroached, settlements would have been forced to relocate, leaving behind structures that are now preserved beneath the waves. This historical context provides a plausible scenario for how a large, sophisticated monument could have been built and subsequently submerged. Yonaguni may represent a fragment of a civilization lost to rising waters, echoing global flood myths and legends of sunken cities preserved in cultural memory. Diving at Yonaguni is both challenging and exhilarating. Strong currents, limited visibility, and the depth of the site make exploration difficult, yet divers continue to document terraces, walls, and mysterious formations. Photographs and 3D mapping reveal patterns that are difficult to reconcile with purely natural explanations, fueling ongoing debate. Some researchers have discovered potential evidence of tool marks, carved channels, and interlocking stones, suggesting construction methods that may have relied on rudimentary yet effective engineering techniques. The careful observation of these features continues to generate new insights, keeping Yonaguni at the forefront of discussions about ancient underwater sites. Finally, Yonaguni serves as a symbol of the ocean's ability to preserve mysteries. Its terraces and massive stone formations remind us that human history is far more complex than conventional records suggest. The site challenges assumptions about the technological and societal capabilities of prehistoric civilizations, hinting at knowledge and skills that have been lost over time. By studying Yonaguni, researchers not only explore the possibility of a sunken city but also gain insights into human adaptation, architectural ingenuity, and the enduring relationship between people and the environment. The monument invites us to consider what other secrets lie beneath the waves, waiting to be discovered, mapped, and understood. In conclusion, the Yonaguni Monument is one of the most compelling examples of a potential underwater city in the world. Its terraces, stone platforms, and geometric features challenge the boundaries of geology, archaeology, and human imagination. Whether natural or man-made, the site sparks profound questions about the capabilities of prehistoric civilizations, the impact of rising sea levels, and the mysteries that the ocean preserves. Yonaguni stands as both a testament to human ingenuity and a reminder that the depths of our planet still harbor secrets that have remained hidden for millennia, inviting discovery, exploration, and wonder. Off the northern coast of Cuba lies a submerged wonder that has puzzled researchers and explorers alike: the Cuban underwater structures. Discovered accidentally in 2001 by a team of divers and sonar technicians, these formations consist of terraces, plazas, roads, and massive stone blocks arranged in a seemingly deliberate pattern. Spread over a vast area of the seabed, the structures challenge conventional understanding of ancient civilizations in the Caribbean, suggesting that a sophisticated culture may have thrived there long before recorded history. The discovery has ignited intense debate, as the sheer scale, precision, and organization of the formations raise profound questions about their origin and purpose. The terraces are among the most striking features of the site. Flat, expansive platforms rise from the ocean floor, interspersed with massive blocks that appear to form walls, foundations, and possibly buildings. Many of the stones are cut with apparent precision, forming angular and interlocking shapes that hint at intentional design. The layout of the terraces suggests functional use, potentially serving as public spaces, ceremonial grounds, or foundations for large structures. The uniformity of the terraces, combined with their strategic arrangement, implies advanced planning and architectural knowledge, challenging assumptions that prehistoric societies in the Caribbean lacked complex engineering skills. Road-like formations connect various terraces and platforms, creating a sense of cohesion that resembles urban planning. These pathways appear deliberate, wide enough for human or animal traffic, and exhibit alignments that suggest careful thought in their design. The presence of connecting roads indicates that the site was not a collection of isolated features but a coordinated complex, possibly a city or ceremonial center. The organization of terraces and roads hints at a social structure capable of mobilizing labor, resources, and planning on a scale that seems remarkable for its time. It raises questions about who built these structures, why they were constructed, and what civilization they belong to. Massive stone blocks dominate the site, some weighing several tons. Moving, shaping, and placing such enormous stones would have required advanced engineering knowledge, coordinated labor, and possibly unknown tools or techniques. Some researchers speculate that these blocks were cut from local stone quarries, shaped, and then transported into position, while others suggest that the builders may have utilized buoyancy, levers, or other methods to maneuver them. The precision with which some stones interlock and form terraces or foundations further underscores the sophistication of the builders. These features challenge conventional timelines, suggesting a level of technological capability not traditionally attributed to prehistoric Caribbean populations. The orientation and alignment of the structures provide additional layers of mystery. Some terraces and platforms appear to align with cardinal directions, celestial bodies, or natural features, hinting at astronomical or ritual significance. Such alignments may have been used for calendrical purposes, ceremonial events, or as markers for navigation. The integration of astronomical knowledge with monumental construction implies a culture that observed and understood the natural world, integrating it into the design of urban or ceremonial spaces. This level of sophistication challenges conventional assumptions about the intellectual and cultural capabilities of early human populations in the region. Geological studies suggest that the site was constructed during a period when sea levels were significantly lower than they are today. As the last ice age ended and glacier melted, rising seas gradually submerged the complex, preserving its terraces, roads, and stone formations beneath the ocean. The underwater preservation has protected the site from erosion, looting, and human interference, allowing researchers a rare glimpse into a lost world. Radiocarbon dating and sediment analysis provide clues about the timeline, indicating that the structures could be over 6,000 to 8,000 years old, potentially predating known civilizations in the Americas. If accurate, these dates would suggest a highly advanced culture existing thousands of years earlier than previously thought. The Cuban underwater structures also evoke comparisons with other submerged sites, such as Yonaguni in Japan and terraces in the Mediterranean. Recurring features, including terraces, straight edges, and massive stone blocks, raise the possibility of a shared knowledge of construction or parallel development of advanced engineering techniques across different regions. Some researchers propose that these similarities may indicate a lost global network of civilizations, or at least convergent technological evolution driven by similar challenges and environmental conditions. While speculative, the comparison underscores the mystery and importance of the Cuban site within the broader context of underwater archaeology. Debates about the origin of the structures continue. Skeptics argue that natural geological processes, such as erosion, sedimentation, or tectonic activity, could account for some of the terraces and formations. However, the apparent order, symmetry, and connectivity of the terraces, roads, and stone blocks make a purely natural explanation increasingly difficult to sustain. Divers and researchers who have explored the site report features that resemble walls, building foundations, and organized urban layouts, suggesting human intervention. The evidence hints at a civilization with advanced planning, engineering skills, and the social organization necessary to build monumental structures on a large scale. Ultimately, the Cuban underwater structures offer a glimpse into a potentially lost civilization, raising profound questions about human history. They challenge traditional timelines, suggesting that advanced societies may have existed far earlier than historians previously believed. The terraces, roads, and massive stones are more than just archaeological curiosities. They are evidence of human ingenuity, adaptation, and resilience in the face of rising seas. As exploration and research continue, the site may yield further discoveries that illuminate the mysteries of the Caribbean's ancient past. In conclusion, the Cuban underwater structures represent one of the most compelling examples of a submerged civilization in the Americas. Their terraces, connecting roads, massive stone blocks, and potential ceremonial alignments indicate sophisticated engineering, urban planning, and cultural knowledge. Whether the structures were built for practical, ceremonial, or symbolic purposes, they challenge our understanding of prehistoric societies in the region. Preserved beneath the waves, these formations serve as a testament to human ingenuity, a reminder of civilizations lost to rising seas, and a call to continue exploring the ocean depths for the secrets they still hold. The depths of the ocean have long concealed the secrets of human history, but modern technology has revolutionized our ability to explore these hidden realms. Sonar technology, in particular, has become an indispensable tool in underwater archaeology, allowing researchers to map vast swaths of the seafloor with precision, detect anomalies, and identify potential sites of interest that were previously invisible to the human eye. By sending sound waves to the ocean floor and measuring the returning echoes, sonar creates detailed images of underwater landscapes, revealing terraces, blocks, and structures that may indicate the presence of sunken cities or ancient human constructions. This technology has transformed our understanding of the oceans from mysterious, empty spaces into a repository of lost civilizations waiting to be explored. The use of sonar in discovering underwater anomalies is exemplified by projects like the Baltic Sea Anomaly, the Cuban Underwater City, and the Yonaguni Monument. In each case, sonar mapping allowed researchers to detect formations that diver observations alone might have missed, providing a bird's-eye view of submerged structures and their surrounding environments. Sonar reveals features such as terraces, angular blocks, pathways, and potential foundations, allowing scientists to differentiate between natural formations and human-made structures. The precision of these scans enables the creation of three-dimensional models of underwater sites, offering a level of detail that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. These models are essential for planning dives, analyzing structures, and sharing findings with the broader scientific community. Different types of sonar systems are employed depending on the depth, scale, and resolution required. Multi-beam sonar systems emit sound waves across a wide swath, capturing large areas of the seafloor in high resolution. Side-scan sonar provides detailed images of the seafloor's texture, highlighting anomalies and patterns that may indicate artificial structures. Sub-bottom profilers penetrate sediment layers, revealing buried features that might otherwise remain hidden. Each of these technologies contributes to a comprehensive understanding of underwater landscapes, allowing researchers to detect terraces, walls, roads, and other signs of human activity even when they lie beneath meters of sediment. The combination of these tools has opened new frontiers in underwater archaeology, transforming the ocean into a vast archive of human and geological history. Sonar technology also plays a crucial role in the preservation of submerged sites. Unlike traditional excavation, which can be invasive and potentially damaging, sonar allows for non-intrusive exploration and documentation. Researchers can map sites in their entirety without disturbing fragile structures, ensuring that terraces, platforms, and blocks remain intact for future study. This is particularly important for delicate formations like those at Yonaguni or the Cuban underwater city, where the slightest disruption could compromise the integrity of the structures. By using sonar to create detailed digital records, archaeologists can study sites virtually, conduct analyses, and share data globally, reducing the need for repeated physical exploration and minimizing the risk of damage. The combination of sonar and other technologies, such as underwater drones and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, enhances the study of submerged structures. ROVs equipped with cameras and manipulators can investigate anomalies identified by sonar in greater detail, providing visual confirmation and collecting samples for further analysis. Drones allow exploration of areas that are too dangerous or deep for human divers, expanding the range of possible study sites. Together, these technologies enable a comprehensive approach, combining remote sensing, visual documentation, and scientific sampling to uncover the mysteries hidden beneath the waves. This integrated methodology has led to the discovery of terraces, roads, and massive blocks that suggest the presence of civilizations previously unknown to history. Sonar data has also challenged long-held assumptions about the natural formation of underwater features. Many terraces and angular blocks initially thought to be geological in origin reveal patterns and alignments that imply intentional construction. For example, at the Cuban underwater site, sonar mapping highlighted linear pathways and interconnected terraces, suggesting an organized city layout rather than random geological activity. At Yonaguni, terraces and step platforms detected by sonar provide evidence of geometric precision inconsistent with typical erosion patterns. By revealing these patterns, sonar technology forces researchers to reconsider explanations based solely on natural processes, opening the door to the possibility of human or advanced prehistorical involvement. Moreover, sonar has helped identify areas for further investigation, allowing archaeologists to focus resources on the most promising sites. Mapping large expanses of the seafloor uncovers anomalies that may represent sunken temples, settlements, or other structures, directing dives and excavation efforts with greater efficiency. In many cases, sonar reveals not just individual terraces or blocks, but entire networks of structures, roads, and platforms, suggesting the presence of complex societies that thrived in regions now submerged. These findings provide crucial context for understanding human adaptation, settlement patterns, and the impact of rising sea levels on ancient civilizations. Finally, sonar technology continues to advance, promising even greater discoveries in the future. Improved resolution, faster data processing, and integration with artificial intelligence allow researchers to identify patterns and anomalies more accurately than ever before. As sonar systems become more sophisticated, the potential to uncover new underwater cities, terraces, and archaeological treasures grows exponentially. Each scan, each echo, brings humanity closer to uncovering the secrets that have lain hidden beneath the waves for thousands of years, revealing a lost world of engineering, culture, and civilization that challenges our understanding of history. In conclusion, sonar technology has revolutionized the exploration of underwater structures, transforming the ocean from a mysterious void into a map of lost civilizations. By detecting terraces, blocks, roads, and anomalies, sonar allows researchers to document, analyze, and interpret sites without disturbing fragile formations. The technology has played a pivotal role in discoveries such as Yonaguni, the Cuban underwater city, and the Baltic Sea anomaly, providing evidence that challenges conventional history and suggests the existence of advanced, submerged civilizations. As sonar continues to evolve, the ocean's hidden past becomes ever more accessible, revealing that beneath the waves lies a world waiting to be rediscovered. Across the world's oceans, terraces and platforms lying beneath the waves have become some of the most compelling evidence of potential human activity in prehistory. These submerged features, ranging from the step-like formations of Yonaguni in Japan to the extensive platforms off Cuba, suggest deliberate construction rather than mere geological happenstance. Terraces and platforms are more than simple formations. They represent patterns, organization, and scale that imply knowledge of engineering, geometry, and social planning. Their existence forces archaeologists and researchers to reconsider the capabilities of ancient societies, particularly those that existed long before the emergence of civilizations as we understand them today. The terraces found at Yonaguni provide a clear example of possible human intervention. Divers report step-like formations that rise sharply from a seabed, with flat, level surfaces and angular edges that define natural erosion explanations. Some terraces extend over hundreds of meters, forming a multi-layered structure that appears functional, possibly as roads, ceremonial steps, or foundations for larger constructions. Interspersed among these terraces are features resembling walls, pillars, and flat plazas, further suggesting a purpose beyond the random fractures of sandstone. The precision and scale of these terraces have led some researchers to argue that they may be remnants of a lost civilization submerged due to post-ice age rising sea levels. Cuban underwater platforms provide an equally striking example. Spread across the seabed, these terraces are interconnected by what appear to be linear pathways or roads, forming a network that resembles urban planning. Some platforms are perfectly flat, while others show angular edges and interlocking stones, suggesting intentional design. The uniformity of height, width, and orientation across multiple terraces indicates careful planning, as if the builders had a clear vision for their use. Such organized platforms are difficult to explain as natural formations, especially given their alignment and interconnectivity, which together imply knowledge of civil engineering and architectural principles previously unrecognized in the prehistoric Caribbean. Terraces and platforms are not only engineering feats, they may also hold ceremonial or spiritual significance. Elevated terraces can be seen as stages, plazas, or areas for gathering, possibly for religious or community events. The orientation of some platforms aligns with cardinal directions or celestial events, suggesting an awareness of astronomy and its integration into construction. Ancient peoples often built terraces for both practical and symbolic purposes, creating spaces that served as centers of community life while reflecting cultural and spiritual priorities. The combination of practical functionality and potential ceremonial significance underscores the complexity of these underwater sites and the intelligence of their creators. Environmental considerations may also have influenced the construction of terraces and platforms. Coastal regions and river valleys, where many ancient civilizations thrived, were particularly vulnerable to flooding, tides, and erosion. Terraces, elevated platforms, and carefully positioned stone blocks could have been designed to manage water flow, prevent erosion, and provide stable foundations for structures. The engineering knowledge required to design and build such features suggests an understanding of environmental challenges and solutions that would have been essential for long-term habitation. These adaptations indicate that the creators of these terraces were not only skilled engineers but also highly observant and responsive to their natural surroundings. The presence of terraces across diverse geographic locations raises intriguing questions about ancient human capabilities. From Yonaguni in Japan to submerged sites in the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, terraces and platforms share common characteristics: flat surfaces, angular edges, interconnectivity, and alignment. Such recurring features suggest either convergent evolution of engineering solutions or the possibility of a broader network of knowledge shared among ancient civilizations. The global distribution of these features points to a widespread understanding of construction principles, organization, and adaptation to environmental conditions, challenging the conventional narrative that complex engineering was limited to later historical periods. Terraces and platforms also act as anchors for interpreting other underwater structures. Roads, walls, plazas, and stone blocks often cluster around these terraces, suggesting that they form the foundation or core of larger settlements or ceremonial complexes. By studying terraces, researchers can gain insights into the layout, purpose, and social structure of submerged civilizations. They provide clues about how ancient peoples organized space, managed resources, and expressed cultural priorities through construction. In essence, terraces are not isolated anomalies. They are integral components of complex, intentional designs that hint at sophisticated human activity long before recorded history. The study of terraces and platforms has been revolutionized by modern technology. Sonar mapping, 3D imaging, and underwater drones allow researchers to visualize these formations with unprecedented clarity. Sonar scans reveal terraces, steps, and angular features invisible to divers due to sediment coverage or low visibility. 3D reconstructions enable the analysis of spatial relationships, alignments, and structural consistency, providing evidence for intentional design. These technological advancements have transformed the interpretation of terraces and platforms from speculative observation to rigorous analysis, strengthening the case for human involvement and expanding our understanding of ancient civilizations submerged beneath the waves. Finally, terraces and platforms invite speculation about the civilizations that constructed them. Who were these people, and what knowledge, tools, and organization did they possess? Why were their settlements ultimately submerged? And how did rising seas impact their culture and survival? While definitive answers remain elusive, terraces and platforms offer tangible evidence that challenges conventional timelines of human development, hinting at sophisticated societies that may have existed thousands of years earlier than previously thought. They remind us that human ingenuity, adaptation, and resilience have deep roots, often hidden beneath the ocean's surface, waiting to be discovered and understood. In conclusion, terraces and platforms found underwater are among the most compelling indicators of potential human activity in prehistory. Their geometric precision, scale, alignment, and environmental adaptation suggest advanced engineering, planning, and societal organization. From Japan to Cuba, these formations reveal the possibility of lost civilizations that constructed monumental architecture long before known history. By studying terraces and platforms, researchers uncover evidence of human ingenuity preserved beneath the waves, offering a tantalizing glimpse into the mysteries of our past and the civilizations that may have flourished in places now hidden beneath the ocean. Among the most enigmatic features discovered beneath the world's oceans are the so-called underwater roads and pathways, evidence that suggests deliberate construction by ancient civilizations. Found at sites ranging from Yonaguni in Japan to the submerged cities off the coast of Cuba and other locations around the globe, these linear formations stretch across the seabed with astonishing precision. Unlike natural ridges or sediment deposits, these pathways appear to connect terraces, plazas, and stone platforms, forming networks that hint at organized urban planning. Their existence raises profound questions. Who built these roads? How were they constructed? And for what purpose? At Yonaguni, divers have documented long, straight stretches of rock that resemble roads or causeways, linking the massive terraces and platforms that define the monument. Some pathways are remarkably flat, while others are subtly raised, creating a series of navigable steps across the seabed. The uniformity of width and alignment suggests intentional design rather than random geological formation. The pathways often appear in connection with other architectural elements, including stair-like terraces, flat plazas, and pillar-like formations, reinforcing the idea that the entire site may have functioned as a coherent, planned complex. The precision and scale of these paths imply knowledge of geometry, engineering, and spatial organization. The Cuban underwater structures provide another compelling example. Sonar imaging reveals linear features that connect terraces and platforms, forming what appears to be a coordinated layout resembling a city. These underwater roads are wide, relatively straight, and often bordered by large blocks, creating the impression of thoroughfares built for transportation or ceremonial processions. The placement and orientation of these roads suggest that they were integral to the function of the complex, facilitating movement between key areas. This connectivity challenges the notion that prehistoric societies in the region were primitive or unorganized, suggesting instead a level of sophistication in urban planning and communal activity. The construction of underwater roads presents intriguing engineering questions. Moving, leveling, and shaping stone to form linear pathways requires advanced techniques, particularly when the stones involved weigh multiple tons. Divers have observed that some roads appear to have been cut directly from a seabed, while others are composed of individual blocks meticulously placed in alignment. In either case, the builders would have needed an understanding of load distribution, stability, and long-term durability. The fact that these roads have survived underwater for thousands of years highlights both the skill of their creators and the preservation offered by submersion, where sediment, cold temperatures, and the absence of human interference protect the structures from erosion and decay. Orientation and alignment of underwater roads suggest functional and possibly ceremonial purposes. Some roads are aligned with cardinal directions, celestial events, or natural landmarks, indicating that their construction was guided by observation of the environment. In ancient societies, roads often served multiple purposes: practical transportation, processional routes for rituals, or symbolic links between sacred sites. The underwater roads of Yonaguni and Cuba may have fulfilled similar roles, connecting terraces, plazas, and ceremonial areas in a manner that reflected cultural priorities, social hierarchy, or cosmological beliefs. This dual function emphasizes the sophistication of their builders, who integrated utility with meaning in the design of their urban landscapes. Geological processes alone cannot easily account for these linear features. While tectonic activity, erosion, and sedimentation can create certain straight or elongated formations, the combination of straightness, uniform width, alignment with terraces, and interconnectivity strongly suggests intentional construction. In many cases, the roads intersect with other structured elements, forming networks that appear purposeful rather than random. Researchers continue to debate whether natural explanations can fully account for these formations, but the balance of evidence increasingly points toward human engineering, offering tantalizing clues about civilizations that predate recorded history. The discovery of underwater roads also has implications for understanding human adaptation to environmental change. Rising sea levels after the last ice age submerged coastal settlements, terraces, and pathways, preserving them beneath the ocean. These roads may have originally functioned on dry land, connecting neighborhoods, ceremonial sites, or trade centers within a thriving society. The submersion of such networks illustrates the vulnerability of coastal civilizations to climatic shifts, while also providing a unique archaeological record of their ingenuity and organization. Studying these submerged roads allows us to reconstruct ancient landscapes and consider how environmental pressures shaped human development. And adaptation. Underwater roads provide a lens into the social and cultural dynamics of the societies that built them. Coordinating the construction of long, straight pathways requires not only technical knowledge but also labor organization, planning, and perhaps centralized leadership. The presence of these roads suggests societies capable of collaboration, planning large-scale projects, and integrating functional, ceremonial, and symbolic purposes into urban design. They imply a culture that valued connectivity, efficiency, and the integration of human spaces with natural landscapes, offering a glimpse into the priorities and capabilities of civilizations now lost beneath the waves. Finally, the study of underwater roads is revolutionized by modern technology. Sonar mapping, 3D reconstruction, and underwater drones allow archaeologists to document and analyze pathways in exquisite detail, even when visibility is limited. These tools reveal the road's width, length, orientation, and relationship to surrounding terraces and platforms, enabling researchers to hypothesize about their function and construction methods. The integration of technology, careful observation, and comparative analysis across multiple sites has transformed underwater roads from mysterious anomalies into key pieces of evidence in the study of submerged civilizations, challenging conventional history and sparking renewed curiosity about the human past. In conclusion, underwater roads and pathways represent some of the most compelling indicators of intentional construction by ancient civilizations. Their alignment, scale, connection to terraces and platforms, and survival beneath the waves suggest advanced planning, engineering skill, and social organization. From Yonaguni to Cuba, these linear formations hint at societies capable of constructing networks for transportation, ceremonial, or symbolic purposes, challenging conventional narratives of prehistoric human development. As modern technology continues to reveal these submerged networks, underwater roads remind us that much of human history remains hidden beneath the ocean, waiting to be discovered, studied, and understood. Beneath the ocean's surface lie monuments that speak to human ambition, creativity, and the mysteries of civilizations lost to rising seas. Ancient submerged monuments, whether terraces, platforms, roads, or massive stone blocks, are more than architectural curiosities. They are cultural artifacts that hint at societal values, religious practices, and the organizational capabilities of prehistoric peoples. Found in locations as diverse as Yonaguni in Japan, the Cuban underwater city, and parts of the Mediterranean, these monuments suggest a world where humans engaged with their environment in highly sophisticated ways, combining engineering, symbolism, and community life to create enduring structures. Understanding their cultural significance is essential to comprehending not just how these monuments were built, but why they were constructed in the first place. At Yonaguni, the terraces, steps, and flat platforms form a monument that may have served both practical and ceremonial purposes. Elevated terraces could have functioned as public spaces, foundations for structures, or ceremonial stages, while the interlocking blocks and pathways suggest coordinated planning. Some researchers propose that the site had a spiritual or ritualistic dimension, with terraces aligned to cardinal points or celestial events, possibly used for solstice ceremonies or astronomical observation. The careful integration of function and symbolism indicates a culture deeply connected to its environment, observing natural phenomena and embedding that understanding into monumental construction. In this sense, the Yonaguni Monument is not merely a structure but a cultural expression of a civilization's worldview. The Cuban underwater monuments provide further insight into the cultural importance of submerged architecture. Spread across extensive terraces and interconnected by pathways, these formations indicate a society capable of complex urban planning and social organization. Some platforms appear to serve communal functions, possibly as plazas, ceremonial sites, or marketplaces, while roads link different areas, reflecting an understanding of spatial relationships and social dynamics. The scale and precision of these monuments suggest that they were more than functional. They were statements of societal identity, cultural cohesion, and technological achievement. The fact that they were eventually submerged adds a layer of poignancy, preserving a record of cultural sophistication hidden beneath the waves. The cultural significance of submerged monuments often extends to religious or spiritual practices. Elevated platforms, terraces, and pyramidal structures frequently appear in societies around the world, both ancient and modern, as centers of worship, ritual, and community gathering. Submerged monuments may have served similar purposes, embodying the values, beliefs, and ceremonial practices of their builders. Alignments with celestial bodies, precise geometric forms, and interconnected terraces suggest that these structures were carefully designed to reflect cosmology, mythology, or religious observance. In this way, submerged monuments are more than engineering achievements. They are expressions of the cultural and spiritual life of the societies that created them. Terraces, platforms, and monuments also convey messages about social hierarchy and governance. The coordination required to plan, construct, and maintain these structures implies a centralized or organized authority capable of mobilizing labor and resources. The size and complexity of these monuments indicate significant investment in public works, suggesting societies that valued communal achievement, ritual practice, or urban development. By analyzing submerged monuments, researchers can infer the existence of social stratification, leadership structures, and specialized labor, providing a window into the political and social organization of ancient cultures. These insights highlight the depth of cultural sophistication that may have existed long before documented history. Environmental and geographic factors further illuminate the cultural significance of submerged monuments. Many sites were originally constructed on coastlines, river valleys, or areas now underwater due to post-ice age sea level rise. Choosing these locations reflects an understanding of strategic placement, access to resources, and environmental adaptation. The eventual submersion of these monuments, whether due to natural disasters, rising seas, or gradual inundation, adds a narrative of survival and loss, preserving evidence of human achievement in a state that has endured for millennia. The monument's resilience underscores the builders' foresight and technical skill, ensuring their cultural legacy persisted even as their world changed around them. Comparative studies of submerged monuments across the globe reveal recurring architectural motifs and construction techniques. From terraces in the Caribbean to platforms in the Mediterranean and Japan, similarities in scale, alignment, and design suggest either convergent evolution or shared knowledge among ancient cultures. These consistencies indicate that early humans developed universal architectural solutions to common challenges, combining engineering, cultural expression, and environmental adaptation. The monuments, therefore, serve as both local cultural artifacts and part of a broader story of human ingenuity and civilization, linking disparate regions through common threads of design and function. The study of submerged monuments is increasingly aided by technology. Sonar mapping, 3D reconstruction, and underwater drones allow researchers to examine terraces, platforms, and other features in remarkable detail, revealing patterns and connections that would otherwise remain hidden. Such analysis not only clarifies structural details but also provides insights into cultural priorities, ceremonial functions, and social organization. By digitally preserving these monuments, archaeologists can study and share findings without damaging fragile structures, ensuring that their cultural significance remains accessible to future generations. This technology transforms the way we understand human history beneath the waves, allowing submerged monuments to tell their stories in vivid detail. In conclusion, ancient submerged monuments are profound testaments to the cultural, spiritual, and societal achievements of early civilizations. Terraces, platforms, roads, and other architectural features reveal a sophisticated understanding of engineering, urban planning, environmental adaptation, and cultural expression. Sites such as Yonaguni in Japan and the Cuban underwater city illustrate how these civilizations combined functionality with symbolism, creating enduring legacies that have survived beneath the ocean for thousands of years. By studying these monuments, we gain insight not only into the technical capabilities of our ancestors but also into their beliefs, values, and ways of life, challenging conventional narratives of human history and revealing a world of lost culture hidden beneath the waves. The Mediterranean Sea, long considered the cradle of Western civilization, hides secrets beneath its tranquil surface that challenge conventional historical understanding. Among these secrets are submerged structures whose origins and purposes remain shrouded in mystery. Divers, archaeologists, and sonar researchers have uncovered terraces, walls, streets, and massive stone blocks scattered across the seabed in locations ranging from off the coasts of Greece and Italy to the shores of Egypt. These formations defy easy explanation, suggesting the presence of advanced societies that may have thrived thousands of years before recorded history and that were later lost to the encroaching waters of the Mediterranean. One of the most intriguing features discovered is a series of terraces and platforms off the coast of the Mediterranean islands. Sonar scans reveal flat, level surfaces, angular edges, and linear alignments reminiscent of urban planning. Divers report the presence of massive stone blocks arranged in ways that suggest foundations, walls, or roads. These formations, some of which span hundreds of meters, evoke the remnants of towns, temples, or ceremonial complexes submerged by rising sea levels or catastrophic events. The regularity and precision of these structures stand in stark contrast to the chaotic forms typical of natural rock formations, suggesting deliberate design and construction. Ancient harbors and ports have also been identified beneath the Mediterranean waves. Submerged quays, stone docks, and channelized pathways hint at bustling maritime activity that once linked coastal settlements. Some of these structures show evidence of engineering expertise, with cut stone surfaces, aligned blocks, and channeling designed to facilitate docking and the movement of goods. The complexity of these underwater harbors challenges assumptions about the technological capabilities of ancient Mediterranean societies, suggesting a level of maritime sophistication that may predate written records. These submerged ports also imply economic, cultural, and political networks that connected distant settlements through trade, religion, and social exchange. The causes of submersion for these Mediterranean structures remain a subject of intense debate. Geological evidence points to a combination of rising sea levels following the last ice age, tectonic activity, and catastrophic natural events, such as tsunamis or earthquakes. For example, sudden land subsidence along fault lines may have rapidly engulfed settlements, preserving terraces, streets, and monumental architecture beneath layers of sediment. Similarly, gradual sea level rise could have forced coastal populations to abandon their homes, leaving behind a submerged urban landscape that has remained largely hidden until the advent of modern exploration techniques. These scenarios underscore the vulnerability of early human settlements to environmental change and the ocean's role as both destroyer and preserver. Excavations and underwater explorations have revealed traces of human presence, such as pottery shards, tools, and carvings, further supporting the notion that these submerged formations were once active centers of civilization. In some cases, inscriptions or symbolic carvings hint at cultural and religious practices, connecting the underwater architecture to the social and spiritual life of its creators. Terraces and platforms may have served ceremonial, residential, or administrative functions, reflecting the organizational and technological capabilities of these lost societies. Even the discovery of aligned stones, possibly used for astronomical observation or ritual purposes, suggests a sophisticated understanding of mathematics and cosmology. The Mediterranean also offers unique comparative insights when viewed alongside other submerged sites around the world. Terraces, roads, and platforms in the Caribbean, Japan, and the Baltic Sea share similarities with those found in the Mediterranean, raising questions about the possibility of parallel development or shared ancient knowledge. Recurrent architectural motifs, flat terraces, angular edges, interconnecting roads, and monumental stone blocks suggest that humans across different regions may have developed comparable techniques for constructing durable, functional, and symbolically significant structures. These parallels invite speculation about the movement of ideas, trade, or even civilizations across vast distances in prehistory, challenging the notion of isolated ancient cultures. Modern technology has revolutionized the study of Mediterranean underwater structures. High-resolution sonar mapping allows researchers to identify terraces, foundations, and linear alignments across vast areas of the seabed. 3D imaging reconstructs these sites with unprecedented clarity, revealing geometric patterns, spatial organization, and structural relationships that hint at intentional design. Remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, capture detailed footage, enabling archaeologists to examine surfaces, block arrangements, and potential tool marks. These technologies collectively transform the Mediterranean from a passive repository of history into an active landscape of discovery, revealing that beneath its calm surface lies a network of lost cities, monuments, and cultural artifacts. The discovery of submerged structures in the Mediterranean challenges conventional timelines of civilization. Some formations predate recorded history, suggesting that advanced human societies existed far earlier than previously recognized. The scale, precision, and complexity of terraces, roads, and platforms indicate knowledge of engineering, urban planning, and social organization. These discoveries force historians, archaeologists, and the public to reconsider what is known about prehistoric Mediterranean cultures, prompting new theories about the rise, fall, and disappearance of early civilizations. The underwater Mediterranean becomes not merely a body of water but a vast archive of human achievement, preserving evidence of ingenuity, culture, and adaptation to environmental change. In conclusion, the Mediterranean submerged structures are more than geological anomalies. They are potential remnants of civilizations lost to time and tide. Terraces, platforms, roads, and ports reveal a level of sophistication in urban planning, engineering, and social organization that challenges traditional historical narratives. Rising seas, tectonic shifts, and catastrophic events may have hidden these monuments for millennia. Yet modern sonar, 3D imaging, and underwater exploration are now bringing them to light. These underwater mysteries offer a glimpse into human ingenuity, resilience, and adaptation, reminding us that much of our history remains beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered and understood. Beneath the ocean surface, among terraces, platforms, and massive stone blocks, lie artifacts and tools that have the power to rewrite our understanding of history. These discoveries are rare and often fleeting, preserved under layers of sediment and seawater for thousands of years, yet when uncovered, they provide tantalizing glimpses into the lives, skills, and technologies of ancient civilizations. From pottery shards and carved stones to tools and implements that defy conventional chronology, these artifacts suggest that humans were not only capable of monumental architecture but also possessed sophisticated craftsmanship, problem-solving abilities, and cultural expression long before mainstream history acknowledges. In Japan's Yonaguni site, divers have reported objects that resemble tools used for shaping stone, along with stones displaying grooves and marks that appear deliberately carved rather than naturally eroded. These markings suggest that the massive terraces and steps were sculpted with intention, potentially using tools made from harder stone, bone, or metal. The presence of such implements challenges assumptions about the technological capabilities of prehistoric societies, indicating that they may have had the knowledge and skill to manipulate massive stone blocks with precision. Even subtle grooves and marks tell a story of repeated, deliberate action, hinting at the daily work, planning, and effort that went into constructing the monument. The Cuban underwater city has also yielded remarkable artifacts. Divers and sonar investigations have revealed objects that may be remnants of everyday life, including pottery fragments, stone tools, and carved stone blocks that may have been part of dwellings or ceremonial sites. The design, symmetry, and placement of some blocks suggest they were not random debris but components of intentional construction, possibly aligned to facilitate structural stability, drainage, or aesthetic coherence. Such artifacts offer clues about the civilization's social organization, technological expertise, and artistic sensibilities, hinting at a complex culture that thrived in an era long before written records. Underwater artifacts are not limited to tools or construction implements. Some hint at spiritual or symbolic practices. Carved stones, inscriptions, or objects resembling religious iconography have been found near terraces and platforms, suggesting that the monuments may have served ceremonial or ritualistic purposes. In some cases, grooves and holes in stone blocks appear designed for offerings, alignments with celestial events, or other cultural practices. These artifacts transform terraces and pathways from mere architectural features into living spaces imbued with meaning, reflecting the values, beliefs, and cosmology of ancient societies. They remind us that construction and artistry often went hand in hand, merging utility with spiritual expression. The discovery of submerged tools also raises questions about trade, resource utilization, and technological dissemination. Materials found in underwater sites sometimes originate from distant regions, suggesting long-distance exchange or migration. Tools crafted from specific types of stone, bone, or even early metals may indicate specialized knowledge, access to diverse resources, and a network of skilled artisans capable of creating implements for construction, daily life, or ceremonial use. These findings imply a degree of sophistication and connectivity among ancient societies that contrasts sharply with the notion of isolated, primitive communities struggling for survival. Artifacts discovered underwater also challenge conventional chronologies. Some tools and objects appear far older than mainstream archaeology would predict for the level of architectural sophistication observed at sites like Yonaguni or Cuba. Pottery fragments, stone implements, and carved blocks suggest the presence of advanced craftsmanship thousands of years earlier than expected. This temporal discrepancy fuels debates among researchers, some of whom argue that our understanding of prehistoric human capabilities may need substantial revision. The submerged artifacts, preserved beneath centuries of water and sediment, act as time capsules, offering evidence that could reshape historical timelines and provide insight into civilizations erased by rising seas. The preservation of underwater artifacts owes much to the ocean's unique conditions. Cold temperatures, low light, and stable sediment layers protect delicate materials from erosion, decay, and human interference. Unlike terrestrial sites, where exposure and human activity can destroy fragile artifacts, underwater sites often remain remarkably intact. This preservation allows archaeologists and divers to study objects in their original context, gaining a more accurate understanding of how they were used, where they were placed, and what cultural significance they held. Each artifact, from a carved stone to a fragment of pottery, contributes to a broader picture of prehistoric human life. The discovery of underwater artifacts also intersects with technology. Sonar mapping, submersible drones, and 3D imaging allow researchers to locate, document, and analyze objects with unprecedented precision. High-resolution imaging reveals markings, patterns, and placement details that would otherwise remain invisible to the naked eye. These tools help distinguish between naturally formed features and human-made artifacts, strengthening the case for deliberate construction and use. They also enable global collaboration, allowing researchers to share findings, compare artifacts, and uncover broader patterns that span multiple submerged sites across the world. Finally, the artifacts found beneath the waves remind us of the fragility and resilience of human history. Rising seas, earthquakes, and climate change have claimed entire civilizations, yet through the ocean's preservation, fragments of these lost worlds survive. Each tool, carved stone, or pottery shard offers a tangible connection to people who lived, labored, and created thousands of years ago. Studying these artifacts forces us to confront the possibility that much of human history remains hidden beneath the oceans, waiting for discovery, interpretation, and understanding.